Talk all day long. Well, yes, what a comeback yesterday in Dallas.
Grabbed by Luka, ahead to Kyrie, lays it up, blocked by LeBron, and no goaltending.
The Lakers have won 4 out of the last 5. Big win since the All-Star break, 21 games left. We celebrate the win all day. Swee's excited, we're all excited. LA's excited.
Here is Troy Brown. Malik Beasley gives it to LeBron for 3, and we're tied. 81 all. They've come all the way back from 27 down.
To be able to have that ability to be able to say, okay, if we're not shooting well, we can still be in the game. We can still be productive. That's a key for our ball club.
Plus, we're excited that the Clippers have lost 2 in a row in overtime, and that Travis Rogers, T-Raj, Sweet T, has returned from his golfing trip that turned into a snowing trip and then back to a golfing trip. We'll get the details, plus producer Emily, producer Taylor's weekend, and so much more. Time to celebrate for the purple and gold. Travis and Sliwa, your Monday right now.
Yeah! Nice to meet you.
What? Give me your last name. I want your last name and your first initial.
Long time no show.
Morales completely missed it. You think LA cares more about Lakers coming back from 27 down, or that you and I are finally doing a show together?
Right? And
for the love of.
It looks like it's Switzerland, too. Did we get relocated to, like, Zurich?
We're in Denmark.
This is bizarre. I flying in last night or yesterday afternoon, and I see the snow, basically the entire trip back from where I was. And I wake up this morning, look out my window, and there's snow on every mountain like it's the Matterhorn. It's beautiful.
They should bring the Christmas tree back in LA Live. They have the.
They should definitely bring the ice rink because
it's already there. Yeah, it's already there, so we have to do anything.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Slee, it's good to see you.
What's
been a
shaking,
while.
Man?
I'm back. I'm happy to be back.
Yes.
I've discovered that Snow and I not really best friends. I don't really need that as part of my life on any sort of regular basis.
You know who I thought of when you sent out because you went on like a selfie mission. Right,
well,
like you went out.
I'm an influencer.
No, you don't have to.
Okay,
knows.
But maybe everybody else doesn't know. I know
everybody
knows.
The moment you started sending those out, I started thinking of Michael's bag that he forgot.
right.
They were skiing or snowboarding, whatever they were doing.
I
thought of that because I thought in my head you could probably use some of this stuff while you're out there.
It's still at the Reno airport. They could ship it back to me. I would like to go on record as saying because I was traveling by myself, I had all of my gear.
Of course,
All of my gear made it into the car because I knew I had 2 bags. Therefore, anywhere I would go somewhere else, I'd make sure.
There's not a guarantee Bobby would have known, even without shoes on the ice, that he didn't have his shoes on. There's not a guarantee.
No, you're right. There's no guarantee on that. That's certainly something that he could do. Get back. He has flat. We'll get to all of this. There's a lot of stuff that took place while I was gone that I like to share with you to kind of unburden myself along the way.
Trickle it in as we go.
Yeah. Okay. You ready for this? So, I go to this very nice resort in Bandon, Oregon, called Bandon Dunes. If you are a golfer, you know what that is. If you are not, let me just explain it to you. It is in this little teeny tiny town called Bandon, Oregon, it's a speck on the map. There's nothing there other than this golf resort, and there's no easy way to get there. You either fly into Eugene, and it's about a 3-hour drive. You fly into North Bend, which has this many flights a day, one flight a day, and it's about 45 minutes.
They go there and to Istanbul.
Right,
that's the connector.
That's it. So anyway, we go on this trip to play these golf courses. I'm going with a couple of Granite Hills Eagles, as a matter of fact, the O'Coin brothers and their dad, the Duger. It's his birthday, so we're going for this thing. And we're all excited. We're going to play these 3 courses, and you get to play with caddies, and you walk, and it's going to be all this. We know it's
I'm looking at the courses right now. Oh, my gosh.
Yes, it's stunning. We get there, and it's cold, and it's windy, and it's like, okay. So I'll sprinkle this through the day. You guys have to remind me to tell you about the Punch Bowl because every golf course in America should have something called the Punch Bowl. I'll tell you this. So anyway, we get up the next morning, and it had been snowing all night, and the golf course is covered in snow. And you get the text that says, yep, everybody that was supposed to play, there's 6 courses on property, okay? All 6 closed. Nobody's playing golf today. All right, well, there's a day. So we sat in the room and stared at each other. The next day...
You didn't do anything fun?
We'll get to that. We did some things that were fun, but not what we were there to do.
Yeah.
Get up the next day, None of the snow has melted. It's that cold. So, like, another text. Yeah, there'll be no golf today either.
Oh my God.
For the first, that resort's been there 24 years.
Okay.
24 years.
Do you want me to count how many times they've closed down the course?
Go ahead.
I'm going to go 5 times in the history of the course's existence.
For the first time in the history of the course was closed on back-to-back days. In 24 years, it had never been closed back-to-back days before.
Taylor,
Zero.
write that down.
One time. The
Write
weekend
that freaking down.
that I went. This most recent weekend.
Gosh.
It hadn't been closed for any reason in 12 years. Back-to-back days for the first time ever on the first 2 days that we were there. Thank goodness we were there for 4 days. Thank goodness we had enough time to. We drove to Eugene one day to play. We did get to play on the final day, but it was like being in a snow. It was snow. It was beautiful, but you don't go to the coast to get snow. You go to the coast to play a little golf. I was expecting it to be 40 degrees, maybe windy, a little wet. Okay, it's Oregon, right? It's going to be cold, wet, windy. Not a big deal. It snowed for 2 days.
You told me a month and a half ago.
Yes.
Maybe 2 months ago. It was something like that where you're like, all right, here's the deal, Al. Got this trip coming up. This place is amazing. The only concern, and I think at that time you were telling me the weather is crazy there right now.
Yep.
But I got about a month and a half.
Yep.
Oh, no, it waited. Every day that went by, it was like, when's
that little
T-Ross
icon,
coming?
that little snowflake icon on the Apple weather, it just sat there for a month. Just basically said, no, we're going to wait till you get here, and then we're just going to
It's like
unload.
the Lakers 13th in the standings, where they just have sat there and have refused to go
Not
above
anymore.
that line. 12th
Not
now.
anymore. They're 12th, and only a half game out of 11th.
First
Slee.
off, they were 11th yesterday, and then Portland won. and
won.
Then they went
yeah,
back
well,
up.
Dame had 71,
Yeah.
and things. This is why it's hard to get out of 13th place. Yeah. So we did. I got to know the O'Coin brothers better. We spent a lot of time. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Want to go get a drink? Yeah, sure, I guess. But it got to the point where you can't drink all day.
No, you can't. You can, but
it's not a good idea. It's not a good
know.
idea. So we'd go get a couple of drinks, and then you want to go
And
back
it was
to
noon.
I guess I can. If you have any questions about the Thailand Open on Golf Channel, I can tell you whatever you want because I watched it all.
Yep.
The Bong TV lap blew a big lead coming down the stretch. That's the woman that blew it.
Well, I will, as I do some research about the golf tournament, I might have some questions as the
Did you
show
have
progresses.
ski boots? Did you have snowshoes? Did you have
I had
all these good stuff?
I had golf equipment, right? So you only had golf stuff. I had plenty of layers along the way. It was a lot.
When you did actually get a chance to golf,
yes,
I know freezing cold.
Yes,
how was it?
So we drove to Eugene on Friday because we're not sitting in the room for another
chains
day.
on your tires?
No, it wasn't like it would hit the road and it would melt, but it wasn't melting on the golf course, right?
I would have put chains on just in case.
Just to be safety first.
Yeah.
We drive to Eugene. It's like 2.5 hours away. We get there. It's 38 degrees. Now there's no snow on the ground, but playing golf. I live in Laguna Niguel. It's not 30 degrees in Laguna Niguel. It's super cold. So we had a great day. We literally drove up there, got out of the car, walked to the golf carts, put the bags in the cart, played golf, got back in the car, drove back to Bannon, another 2.5 hours.
Your zipper all the way up, like you can't get any higher up, scarves, everything.
Emily, I thought about you a couple of different times on this. So we got 4 people in this car, right?
Yep.
2.5 hours each way.
Oh my gosh, you guys didn't listen to anything?
There was music, but I don't think anybody really spoke to each other on either way.
That's fine.
It was great.
Kind of perfect.
It was terrific.
Yeah. I think music. I think you have to decide early on whether this is going to be a talking trip or a listening trip. And I think that the listening trip is always
I had to
more
put
enjoyable.
headphones on and just sat in the back corner.
Guys in the back seat kind of fell asleep here and there, and Sean and I up front just kind of like. And I said to him at one point, I said, "You know what I really like about this? That no one feels like they need to talk to anybody
That's
else."
good trip. No,
It was great.
That's good.
It was great.
Time.
So, and then we played on Saturday at Bandon. We finally got out. It was like 40 degrees, crystal blue skies. All 99% of the snow had melted, and it was a perfect day, an absolutely perfect day. So it made the trip worth it.
Well, welcome back, because I think, if I'm correct, just double check here whether rain will start coming around 11 a.m. Looks like it's here.
It's like following me.
It's raining tomorrow. Looks like it's going to rain on Wednesday as well. So we got some rain in the forecast for a couple more days.
More snow on the mountains too. Was it true that there was? I saw something go by my news. Was there really snow on the Hollywood Hills? Did that happen?
I saw that too. I'm not sure. I didn't actually see it, but I heard somebody else talking about that as well.
I've lived here a long time. I've never seen that.
Well,
ever.
we're talking, it's like 1,500, 2,000 elevation, there's snow.
Fontana, you said, had a bunch
Fontana.
of snow. I hope my guy at Rotolo Chevrolet are okay, that they didn't get snowed underneath. They're right at the foothills of the mountain, right off the 210 freeway
Fontana.
Sierra Avenue exit. It's right there. I mean, they could, but if you got your Silverado, you just drive right through.
Then
It's
you go
not
right
a big
through.
deal
Yeah,
at all.
you're fine.
You don't
So
need
my-
to power right through.
You don't
My
need change.
friend is visiting, so she is from Virginia, but she drove across the southern part of the country.
She's probably wearing a tank top. Like, this is beautiful out here.
But over like the past, like she did like a week across the country, and everything's going smoothly. She did it solo, so everything's going smoothly. No hiccups on the road. Her car is working fine. She gets to the last day of driving, the last whatever. It's supposed to be 2 hours of driving, somewhere in there, that range, because she's going from Death Valley. It might be a little bit more or whatever, but it ended up going from it added an extra 3 hours to her drive. So she had to go through Death Valley, through all the snow, and she's a very nervous driver to begin with, so she was like white-knuckling it the whole way.
Probably looked
And-
like me coming over the pass from Palm Springs to San Diego.
Yeah, it's just like the worst weekend ever to come to Los Angeles, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Bandon was worse than L.A. That's all I can tell you.
It's true.
It was great. Food was pretty good. Had a few cocktails over the course of the weekend. Something called a transfusion is kind of the drink of choice up there. Tried that
Bring it down here.
a few times. It's pretty fun.
I will say the only thing on Friday, kind of, to be honest with you, the roads, everyone was so scared of the roads, there was nobody really on the roads.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was just in my head, I'm like, maybe I should drive more when it's hailing out, when the storm is going the way it is.
Hail sucks.
Taylor and I got a chance to see some, we watched a little NBA basketball.
I knew that
on
you guys
Friday.
went 176, 175.
Yep.
Thought it was a typo. I was in the lodge watching the scores go by. I'm like, well, that can't be right. They didn't score 300 points in an NBA, 350 points in an NBA game. There's no way that happened. Oh, no, it happened.
You would have thought Taylor and I bought out our own suite because, he got the tickets here.
Okay.
And it's in our 710 suite. Let's just say when it's 41 degrees outside, they're not packing in the suite. There's not many people coming to the game. Literally, we had the entire suite.
You're
fine by
kidding.
me.
No, we had the entire suite. Taylor and I, he sat on one row, I sat on another row.
You guys didn't in silence?
No, we talked a little bit. And then Taylor was like,
Sliwa
bro,
has
you're
peanuts.
talking a lot. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
take
well,
it
I'm just
easy.
asking if you want some more peanuts or not.
And guess who left early?
Oh, 3.5 quarters. I was out. Yeah, that was it.
Wasn't it a double OT?
Double
It's a
OT.
historic
So you
game,
basically
Alan.
missed like half the game.
No, I basically caught the rest. I caught both full overtimes from home. Like
Did you really?
The fact that I was able to leave crypto, get home, and it was still regulation, and I left probably 7 minutes, I think, left in the fourth. I caught both overtimes. Like, it was like, should I change the channel? Should I not?
Well,
I've
you
been
can't
watching a
change
lot
the
of
channel
basketball.
now. See, first one to 200 wins.
This guy stayed the entire
But
thing
what would have
as
been
he
more
should.
fun is if you stayed
And-
for the historic ending, Alan. Why
So,
would you go?
It's a great question. Even if you'd have told me that the game was going to go to double overtime and it was 176, 175, do you want to stay or do you want to leave? I would have still left.
I
Nothing
agree.
would have changed.
I'm not judging you at all.
Yeah, nothing would have changed.
I'm
I
happy.
have zero affiliation with the Clippers and the
I'm
Kings.
Yeah,
judging you.
there's one of those things that, it's cool. I gotten enough. I've
I was
scratched
happy
the
for
itch.
him.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
well,
it's better
he needs to stay.
Yeah,
it's one of
better
his
you weren't
squads.
there because I was freaking out.
Yeah, he was probably. he's
So you were
pacing.
in the suite by yourself,
yourself.
for a while?
Yeah, it was just
Dude, you should have started inviting people in. Yo, find your Kings fans in the crowd
From
and
the
bring them on
other
up.
suites.
You know how they have sometimes they'll shoot into like a press box, and you'll see like it's Jerry Jones or something like that, or it's Jerry West back in the days. He would have been like pacing like one of those GM/owners, just nervous as hell. People are probably like, that guy's got to be super important.
Yeah, he's got a suite by himself, and he looks like he's invested. Absolutely, the owner, silent owner here
silent
for
majority.
the Sacramento Kings. The Lakers pulled off the biggest comeback win of the season, NBA season, 27-point comeback. And Al, I'm going to use a word that I've not used for the Lakers in a very long time. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
$710.
All right, I want to get to the Lakers here in just 1 second, but I want to talk about our pickleball tournament. Have you?
Oh, great news.
Have you played?
Big update, yeah. Big update.
I feel like I'm going to be disappointed by what
No,
you're about
listen.
to tell me.
Me, Clinton Yates, Jorge, and Bergman playing this Thursday in Pasadena.
Oh, you're going to play?
Yeah, we're going to play.
But so you still have not played?
Big news coming up Thursday.
I had the way that you big up. I'm like, okay, he hasn't played yet.
Yeah, it was an awful sell.
And let's just wait for it to be snowing on Thursday.
Well,
and
this
no
was
one's going to play.
We were gonna go last week, and Berg and Jorge were pushing it. I'm like, guys, it's 9 degrees outside, and the clouds are coming in. Like, we're going to be playing on a court that is completely rained out.
With
so
20 mile
play.
per hour winds.
Yeah, with 20 mile per hour winds.
Yeah, and you play
Which
with a
might
wiffle
help
ball, so the ball's flying all over the
place.
Our inaugural Pickleball Madness tournament is just about 3 weeks away. March 18th, 10 to 4, Mile Square Park in Fountain Valley. Reserved seating is available. You can register for that at espnla.com. The event, of course, is open to the general public, so come on out and hang out, press the flesh, and a big thanks to our pals at Michelob Ultra, Bud Light Seltzer, and Pizza Hut. Not only will we be playing pickleball, but there's TVs to watch all the college basketball games. There's a Pop-A-Shot competition, pickleball demos and lessons. Bring the kids. There's a kids zone. You can grab a few beers in the beer garden, food and drinks, live DJ entertainment, prizes, giveaway. It will be a fantastic afternoon. So come on out on March 18th.
We have an update here. Joe Cha says that the Hollywood sign had just hail, so almost snow. So basically it was a blizzard up there. It had, I don't know if you guys understand the definition of
That
Southern
is a
California.
blizzard for us.
If it hailed, okay, might as well throw on, get your snowboard gear and just go to work.
So there was something that had never happened before. I think it was Friday. You might remember better than I do. For the first time ever, San Diego County issued a blizzard warning.
Yep.
Everything's fine, guys.
Yeah,
no,
it's
nothing,
all great.
Nothing to see here. Blizzard warning in San Diego County.
You know,
Gotta be
things in our
honest,
sky, checking our weather. Like
It was kind of a moment for San Diego where I was proud. You know, where I was like, we finally got one of these, you know?
Well,
We're not
you don't
known.
have any championships. You
We're
got a
not known
blizzard
for
warning.
this, but we got a blizzard warning.
Everything's fine. There was a blizzard warning in San Diego.
Tried
which
driving
is
down there as fast as I
on the
could. I'm like, I
ocean
gotta be on there.
and near the
Unbelievable.
Mexican border. It's usually pretty warm there. Just seems like something we should be worried about. You ready for the word that I have not used
Yes.
in a very long time with the Los Angeles Lakers? They got Mo. They've got real momentum. They've got real. Hey, this feels legit. It does not feel contrived. You haven't gotten lucky to look the way that you have. This is just a pretty good team playing pretty well, winning games, and it doesn't look false. It doesn't look, there's always the injury thing, which is, true for everybody. But I have not been as hopeful for what I've seen over the last week or so. Maybe going back to that championship run during the pandemic season where like, no, this team can beat just about anybody that they go up against. I'm not saying that they are. I'm not saying that they're favored to beat Denver or Memphis. But going into that series, like, yeah, they got to something weird doesn't happen. They just got to play well. I don't know the last time we said that.
All right, so something happened on Friday going into the weekend. Ireland said this. He said that it's as excited as he is about a 3-game road trip since Orlando. And I'm kind of like, all right, let me really think about this here for a second. Is that fair to say that he could be that excited for a 3-game road trip coming up because you're going to get a real test of what the Lakers are, at least a better test, right? Not a real test, but a better test. The more I thought about it, it was the first opportunity we got at least yesterday. It's going to get even tougher, which is, by the way, what you want. You kind of are curious to see, all right, let's gauge where the Lakers are. They played the Pelicans and the Warriors, and they beat them handily. Now, no Zion, no Steph, no Andrew Wiggins, but they also weren't close games. The Lakers controlled the entire game. So then you got your first real matchup against the Mavs. I don't know what the Dallas Mavericks are. They may not be that good of a team, but I'll tell you what they got. They got Luka, they got Kyrie, and they're a playoff team. Plus, you're playing on the road, plus that game's important for them as well. They went up 27 on the Lakers. They went up 27 points on the Lakers. And I think what you just mentioned right there is some real momentum. I'm not telling you that it's good or it's okay to go down 27. They didn't fold up shop.
No.
And if there was another quarter that was added to that game, Lakers would have won by 10, 12, 15 points.
Probably.
As in it was going in that direction. I'm actually surprised that you felt that good after yesterday's game. But there is some real momentum around this team right now.
Yesterday's game was just the next step down the road, right? It wasn't just yesterday's game. It's the other ones that you've talked about. It's the fact that they...
4-1 since the trade deadline.
Yep, and here we are on a Monday. And you weren't here last Monday, but every Monday coming here, still in 13th place.
Yep.
Still in 13th place with no really... Well, we're only this... They really hadn't moved at all in the better part of a couple of months. They just were kind of cemented in to that 13th place. Now they're only in 12th, but at least they're in 12th. And they're only a half game out of 11th. They're only a game out of the 10th spot. And then you start going up to the Dallas Mavericks, who are at 6. They're only 2 games out of there. They're playing better than Minnesota right now. They're playing better than Dallas right now. They're playing, better than
the
OKC,
Pelicans.
The Pelicans.
Yep.
They're on an upward trajectory for the first time in a long time. And to your point, yesterday, them able to come back from a nearly 30-point deficit and win a game against a team that was competing, that did have its 2 stars. We can talk about how that's actually not worked out great for them. But
that need a win, too, because they're trying to stay in the top 6.
Yeah,
yep.
There was nothing about that made you go, yeah, but it was just, no, it's just a really good win on the road against a decent team, and you can start to see it building. Anthony Davis was really good. Jared Vanderbilt has been a revelation for what they needed for him. LeBron got hurt again. We'll see what it looks like. But you don't have to ask for a miracle to beat anybody anymore. You just need to play well. Like before, it was you need to play well, you need to hope the other guy doesn't, and you need to have maybe a call go your way or somebody else needs to. Now you just need to play well.
Need
That's
the
different.
shot clock to turn off. Like you need some stuff.
Yeah.
You need a ref to miss a couple calls. Okay, so a couple things on what you just said. I'm going to tell you, how many threes do you think the Lakers hit yesterday? They had an awful 3-point shooting night.
Did they hit?
That they made.
12.
Okay, there's a reason why I'm doing this, because usually teams that come back from 27
hit
down,
a million threes.
They hit a lot of threes. They were 6 of 34.
Yeesh.
They shot below 18% from 3. The Dallas Mavericks hit 20 threes yesterday. So they were plus 30, whatever it was. That's how many more points that the Mavs had just from the 3-point line. The only reason why I mentioned that to you, Raj, when you're down 27, something has to happen where you now just start hitting all these threes. Everything's got to go your way. Do you know what happened when they were down 27? They just started playing really good defense. Mm-hmm. They bothered the hell out of Luka. Mm-hmm. Kyrie was taking a lot of tough shots. And the Lakers just kind of started scoring at will in the paint, mid-range jumpers, did kind of a little bit of everything, right? So I just point that out because it wasn't a fluke that the Lakers came back from 27. Now, falling down 47-21 or 48-21, whenever it was, you're just kind of scratching your head. But you said something about Jared Vanderbilt. And
my gosh.
I just want to highlight something for you. when they made the trade for Russ, Russell Westbrook's gone. Mm-hmm. The game the Lakers had against the Warriors after the break, Beasley puts up 25.
Mm-hmm. He made 7 threes.
Hit 7 threes. Beasley was kind of the star of that game. Had more points than LeBron and Anthony Davis. LeBron and AD actually combined for 25 that game.
I was going to say, yeah.
It was one of those really awkward. Vanderbilt was the star of this next game. As in, here are the Lakers during that trade deadline. They've got great contributions from Mo Bamba so far. They've got great contributions from Vanderbilt, great contribution from Beasley. Doesn't have to be every game,
yeah.
And role players don't have to be there every game. You just have to have guys that step up when it's not. That part to me is the most fascinating part, is that every move and every player that they've made so far. D'Angelo played 9 minutes the game before.
Yep.
He didn't play yesterday. He'll eventually come back and have some contributions.
Well, he was supposed to be the guy that was kind of the marquee guy in the trade, right?
Yes.
Like D'Angelo Russell was the name guy.
Mm-hmm.
That okay, they've got another guy that can shoot. They got another guy that can
Playmaker,
score.
yep.
Great. It's been the other two guys because Russell's been fine, but he's been hurt, so he hasn't been there. And I think that's what is so different about what they have right now. They have NBA caliber
they have
players.
A team.
Yes. They built a team. This was not a star hunting, headline filling guy that give me this name or that one. This was a, what do we need? We need somebody that can shoot. All right, Malik Beasley can shoot. We need somebody that can kind of do a little bit of everything, in particular defend, give, and play well with AD. All right, well, Jared Vanderbilt's that guy. That works really well. They haven't even really put D'Angelo Russell into this in a meaningful way. I think that they will, but this has not been the headliner that's helped. It's everything at the bottom that before you're not playing guys, and I don't want to put anybody's name in there, but that are barely NBA caliber. These are NBA players, so if LeBron does roll an ankle, if LeBron does miss some shots, if AD has one of his nights where he's not really as aggressive as we'd like him to be, you still have a fighting chance because you have NBA players on the roster.
So this is one thing, and yeah, I give you a lot of credit for this, because when that Russell Westbrook trade went down, one of your main points was don't chase a superstar, build a team.
Yes.
You got LeBron and Anthony Davis. You have enough superstars. Now just go get the supporting cast, what you need. They didn't do that. I'm going to read something here because I think this is interesting. The Ringer, Kevin O'Connor and Chris Vernon do a podcast together. And I thought he laid this out perfectly. This is going back to the trade deadline. This is basically what you traded. Russell Westbrook gone, D'Angelo Russell in. Patrick Beverley gone for Malik Beasley. Just pay attention to position players. Juan Toscano-Anderson gone, Rui Hachimura. Damian Jones gone, Jared Vanderbilt. Thomas Bryant gone, Mo Bamba in. Every player that I just mentioned, with the exception of Thomas Bryant, was a player that was either you didn't really, their contributions weren't really swaying one way or the other. You got real players now that are contributing.
They have a team. They have a team that can beat people, and what they didn't do might have been the most lucky thing that happened to them all season long. We'll do that next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Okay. I'm okay. Yeah. First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Sliwa your Monday as we react all day long to the Lakers now 4-1 with the new crew, yo. But don't forget, it's an Ask Slee Day coming off the weekend. Don't miss Ask Slee around 10:45 this hour right here on Travis and Sliwa.
So, Travis, welcome back to the LA area.
Thank you.
We were talking about your snowy trip up to Oregon. So, Devin Gray tweets at you, says, instead of being snowed in at Bandon, you should have driven the 4 hours to go to Bend, Oregon to get stock up on movies and snacks from the last Blockbuster. Have you been to the last Blockbuster before?
I have not. I know that the last one is in Bend, but I've never had the pleasure of going through there.
It seems like it'd be super fun, I don't know, just to go see it. I have a friend who lives in Bend right now, but...
4 hours is pretty far.
I don't know, for a Blockbuster, but...
Blockbuster's coming back.
I don't know if I need a DVD of Independence Day.
DVD? No, you need a video cassette.
You want to go VHS?
Yeah.
But Al, speaking of which, what is the movie you saw this weekend that would make you mad?
Okay, so have you... I don't think it would make you mad. Here's what happened. I went to... so they just opened up a new theater. There used to be a really cool small theater in Pasadena. Closed down. I think it closed down around COVID. So they opened up Landmark in Pasadena, which has some locations out in San Diego. I don't know if it has other locations in LA, but it's kind of a smaller movie theater. So walk in, had already an idea what we were going to watch, which is completely different. I've never done this before. I don't know if you guys ever have. Before I say it, it's a zoo in the lobby for Cocaine Bear, and they actually have somebody dressed up in a bear outfit.
It's honestly amazing.
Going around yelling this, taking social posts, all this. I'm like, bro, some popcorn and a water. I'm going to go see the movie. You guys ever seen this? You guys ever seen their shorts that they have?
Is it the Oscar-nominated shorts?
Yeah.
I actually meant to go see it this weekend, but I just didn't fall into their plans, but I haven't seen it yet.
All right, so they had 5 short films that they did in the span of this 2 hours. So that's these are all, like she just said, Oscar-nominated short films.
Okay.
They do one that's animated, one that's, real. I saw the live-action shorts, or whatever you want to call it. Bro, it was awesome. So
you saw 5 little short movies in 2
5
hours?
little short films. Now, I will say, if you're not a fan of... Pretty much every film is a foreign short film, so they're going to be in subtitles. So I think only one was not in subtitles. But every storyline, everything was so different. So you kind of just stood there, you watched one, 18 minutes, 20 minutes would go by.
I'm assuming you sat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said you stood there. I was like, this is a
standing
standing
He was
theater?
doing jumping jacks in the back row, burpees.
Anyway, so continue on.
He knocked out 100 burpees per short film.
Doing the kettlebell. First time I've ever done that. Awesome.
Yeah.
You'll really like it. They were all really good.
No, I'm
and I
gonna go
thought she
see
was
it.
going to get angry at me because I didn't see Cocaine Bear because last week she was in a Cocaine Bear state of mind.
I mean, it's great. And it blew up the box office this weekend. It dethroned Marvel off their second week. Fantastic. But yeah, I need to see the short films because that's the only things that I haven't seen for the Oscars this season, so it won't catch up before the 12th.
It's really good. You'll like it.
Look,
I'm
Emily,
excited.
I think it's very clear you don't care about movies the way that Al does, that Al went and found the foreign
Cinephile.
language shorts.
Yeah.
And you're just seeing this popcorn,
Yeah,
to be
just
honest with you,
Cocaine Bear.
Emily, when we talk movies, I'm going to turn my back to you. Okay?
Right, exactly.
As you should, right?
I'm
Write
in
up
a
your
different
Letterboxd review.
stage.
She's not putting in the time to be the movie expert on the Travis and Sliwa show. She's clearly just floating through.
Will
it a
you go
little
see
bit.
Cocaine Bear?
No.
I didn't even try to convince him. I knew his answer. It's fine. I think I can convince you. I think I can convince Clinton. I think Travis is.
Taylor
on his own
wasn't
island.
sold. Taylor was like, nah, I'm good.
It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That
not
was
even
actually Taylor's voice.
It's all the Americans are in it. You got Margot Martindale. You got
I do like
Kerry
her.
Russell. You
I
got
do
the
like
other
her.
the guy.
Matthew Reese is in it.
Is he like the main guy in Americans?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it.
Is he really?
Yes.
Changing over there a little bit.
Here's the thing. It's not.
only,
that I
and by the
don't-
way, only $1.50.
I don't. Well, perfect. It's not that I don't want to see it necessarily. I just know that I'm not going to see it. Do you understand the distinction
and I
between
understand
those two
that's
things?
what's going to happen with this.
Yeah,
So.
like if I were trapped on an airplane and it came on, I'd watch it, but I'm not going to take the time to go see it.
Or if
I
Michael
love that.
put it on your TV in a couple months.
Yeah.
I think you'd see it.
I think that's probably.
I'm going to be
the
honest
likely
with you.
scenario.
If you were trapped on an airplane for an hour and a half, you'd pick a different movie. I don't think you'd pick that one.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I think you'd pick a different
Speaking of, I wasn't trapped at the airport yesterday, but have you? I know that not every airport is LAX. I understand that. But the North Bend Airport, okay? I get there a couple hours before my flight because that's when the shuttle took me.
Yeah.
And there was literally no one at the airport. Like when I say there was one other traveler and
like
me.
The greatest airport I've ever heard.
There's one counter, no employees. There's a rental car counter, no employees. There's not a bar, there's not a restaurant, there's not snack. There's not a single employee of the airport at the airport. So we're kind of sitting there. Finally, he shows up about an hour and 20 minutes before the flight. He's checking everybody in, right? Next, you go down through security. They had like 11 security people for a flight that had 22 people on it. Whatever. So we go down. No jetway, right? It's stairs down onto the runway and back up again. The same guy that was checking us in
flew the plane.
Was the guy that was welcoming you onto the plane.
He has to run. He's got to sprint to beat you guys over there.
Airport employee in the whole damn place.
Sheesh.
It was a different experience. So in that scenario, I might have watched Cocaine Bear. I'm just saying that you gotta come up with the right one. Did the Lakers get lucky by not getting Kawhi? Or excuse me, Kyrie?
Not getting Kyrie?
Yeah. That the Mavs are 1-3 with the two of them together. That it doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't work, but it's gotten off to a slow start. They missed time and whatnot. But that star hunting thing that we were talking about a minute ago is plan A for the Lakers most of the time. Team building, which is what they're doing right now, is what they, I don't want to say fell into because the moves they made were too good to have just fallen into them. But clearly they were in on Kyrie to a point that LeBron wanted to get done.
Yep.
That it didn't get done and that they got Beasley and Vanderbilt and Russell and Bamba and Hachimura. I know Hachimura was earlier in this
but
thing.
Still,
but
part of the whole mix,
They built the whole team. This feels more sustainable, and you're not just crossing your fingers and toes and hoping that Kyrie doesn't come to work one day and decide he doesn't want to play basketball anymore.
So this is how I would put it. I want to make sure that we go back to when Kyrie had announced, came out that he wanted out of Brooklyn. And you remember we're doing that show that day, and me, you, Mace, we're all talking about it, and it's like, oh, go get him.
Sure.
But I think there was a piece of it where the Lakers, it felt like you're in real desperation mode. And when you're in desperation mode, changing anything out and trying to figure, I mean, if Kyrie can come out of nowhere, all the baggage Kyrie has, I'll take my chances. And you could also sell yourself Kyrie, LeBron. Maybe there's a mutual respect there that Kyrie is going to show up, all that stuff. I think what you're watching right now, and it's the first time, at least for me, in the past, you could call it year and a half or so, where I feel like I'm watching good basketball. Where I feel like there's a product out there, which I think is defined also as good basketball. I think there's a product out there that it's natural for Laker fans to feel optimistic about. So to answer your question about did they dodge a bullet not getting Kyrie, as someone that was saying at that time, go get Kyrie, if you ask me right now, hey, you could go back, what do you want to do?
Right.
I'm very happy with what they have right now, and I'm very happy with them moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's it. That at the time, sure, I wanted Kyrie for all the obvious reasons that you've mentioned. But if you could kind of jump in the time machine and go back and say, okay, you've seen what this looks like now. Would you still want to do it, or do you want to do this? I want to do this because the variables are the variables that I think we've come to live with, which is LeBron's in year 20, and you just kind of, he's still awesome, but he's got the foot thing, and you just kind of cross your fingers and hope that it doesn't become a big deal.
He had an injury yesterday. We'll see how that affects tomorrow.
And AD is just, you're still at that point, like, okay, yesterday he was A+ AD and awesome. It's like, yeah, that's the guy. I don't need, the Kyrie thing is that he go out there and get 40, and you're just like, yeah, okay, I hope he comes to work tomorrow. You just never know when that guy's going to have one of those days where it's like, oh boy, here it comes. Dallas is probably freaking out because they know that's coming eventually, and they're not winning a lot of games. They're kind of sitting where they were.
I think they're 1-3 with Luka and him together, something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I think also, Trav, I think you got to ask yourself, the position that the Lakers are in, they all of a sudden have real depth too, because guys that were in the starting lineup before, Dennis Schroeder's been in the starting lineup. Troy Brown Jr. has been in the starting lineup. Austin Reeves has been in the starting. All these guys now become bench players. All these guys now you feel like they can go 8-9 deep. If there's one thing in common that most teams have that are successful in the NBA, A, they play together for more than 2 months, right? They're together for a year, a couple years. But B, they can stretch that roster out a little bit, right? They have depth, and that's not something that we could associate with the Lakers in the past.
They've got a team.
Got a team.
We're going to say it over and over and over
got a
again.
team.
They don't have 2 star players, and hopefully those guys are good enough to drag whoever else is out on the court with them. They've got a team. They've got depth. They've got optionality. They can go big. They can go a little small. You saw that big lineup yesterday. That's a lot for when they have LeBron and Vanderbilt and AD out there and Hachimura. That's a big team. Not a lot of teams are going to be able to match up with that. It's exciting. I am not just optimistic because you want them to win, but optimistic because you think they actually can. I would not be surprised we come through here on Monday, kind of doing it a week from today, and they're inside that line. That feels like a very realistic end game.
All right, let me just give you, just so everybody knows, 2 more games left on this road trip. By the way, just freaking split it, and that's fine. You got Memphis and OKC, and the Thunder, for some reason, KD is not on that team anymore yet. They still play them like he is.
Yep.
But after that 2-game road trip, the remaining of this 2, look what you got, the home cooking that you have. 5 games in a row at home. 9 of the next 11 games, 10 of the next 12 games are going to be at home. Get through these 2 road games. Split them. You got 10 of the next 12 that are going to be at home.
You only got 5 games in the month of March away from crypto. Yeah. That's amazing.
And both of those are going to be gone by the time we get to Thursday.
Yes.
Or 2 of those 5 are going to be gone.
2 of them will be gone.
Listen,
they've got, for the first time ever, it's like nothing weird has to happen. Just keep playing well.
And it's positioned
different.
their way. If you go look at, they have, I think, the 5th or 6th easiest schedule left. All right, now it's up for them to go get it.
Go win some games. Go get it done. I'm very happy to say this. Ask Slee. Coming up next, 877-710-ESPN on the phone, 877-710-3776. Ask Slee.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
Yes, it is that time. Travis is back, and he's ready for a good old-fashioned edition of Ask Slee. And Ask Slee today, presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Yes, indeed. Time on a Monday for Ask Slee.
All right, Slee. First one comes from Travis from Bandon, Oregon.
Okay,
You ready?
yeah, sure.
I was there Wednesday night, all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday, Sunday morning. Came back yesterday afternoon. I was there for a while. How many non-employee females do you think I saw in those 4.5 days at Bandon Dunes, Oregon, where there are 6 golf resorts?
Non-employee
Yeah, lots of female
females.
employees there, but just women there enjoying the resort.
2 non-female employees, and that's because they got off work, they changed, and then they walked out, and you thought they were non-employees.
6. We started counting. It was so weird. I've never been in an environment
Just
with
dude galore.
Doesn't shock me
all
whatsoever.
men. Although I
does not
understand
shock me.
the vast majority, but we're talking 99%.
But it's snowing. Like, these are people that are desperate to go on a golf tournament.
But this is a place where you have to book this place out 2 years in advance. So you're going when you're going. It's not like, this week I'll catch you. It's in the middle of nowhere. So you go when you go. Women play golf.
So 3 times more than I thought. If I thought 2 and there was
Not many.
6.
Not
Stacked.
many.
A lot of people.
It was not nearly enough. Christopher Holmes writes, hashtag Ask Lee, why can no one tickle themselves?
He threw me off because I did see that one, and I tried kind of figuring out myself. I'm going to probably need a little help here. I'm assuming because you know it's coming. You obviously know what you're doing. I can't just sit here. And by the way, I am ticklish. So if
Are you?
Yeah, somebody else came and they did
Everywhere
the
or
same
like-
thing.
Because my feet are the ones that drive me around the bed.
I think like around, like
The
the
flanks?
midsection area. that whole
so
area.
if I came at you, like, you'd be like, hey, Trav, back up. No.
Trav, knock it off.
Stop tickling me. That's something you're never going to have to tell me to do.
Yeah, I can't. That's the only thing I can think of. Is just because we know it's coming, and that's why.
Because occasionally...
But great question.
But you're
Christopher.
right. I think it's the anticipation of it's coming, because if occasionally like your brush of your... And it's like, ooh, you can do it, but you've done it inadvertently.
inadvertently. Yeah.
Also, why do we say tickle, tickle, tickle? And we don't say like poke, 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 poke. Like, why do we say that?
Taylor, why do you say it like
Who
that?
says that?
Why do you say it tickle,
Many
tickle,
people say
tickle,
tickle,
like
tickle,
that?
tickle.
Why do you say
Kids.
that, Emily?
Poppin' Bottles writes, does Slee smile a little bit when he sees the Clippers lose like I do? Hashtag Ask Slee.
No, I smile a lot, and it's pathetic. But I do it, and they lost yesterday as well. They lost to Denver in overtime, and it was like, let's open up a bottle of wine. Why are we opening up a bottle of wine on Sunday? I don't know.
Here's to the Nuggets. Here's the Jokic winning his 3rd MVP in a row.
Ding. Here's to the Nuggets. I like that. I've not done that before.
Not to get to, we can talk about this later, but the Clippers have lost a couple of games in a row. They also look really good. Like Kawhi looks like Kawhi Leonard again. He's decided that, okay, I'll be that dominant two-way player that he hasn't been for a couple of years.
They have a weird thing going where they did lose that game to Sacramento. By the way, Sacramento's playing. Do you know Sacramento's playing a second of a back-to-back?
Tonight?
The game they played on Friday against the Clippers.
Yeah.
They played Thursday against the Blazers.
Oh, wow.
And they still put up 176. But it was I'll go back to this. They got a weird thing going where they got so much talent. There's freaking players everywhere, ballers everywhere. They lost 2 games in a row, and I'm still like, yeah, that team's going to be a problem. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Let's try another one here. Let's go to Cap, who writes, would you rather be trapped in a snowstorm in your car or trapped in the desert in a heat wave?
I'll do desert in a heat wave. Hopefully the air conditioning is on for a while. I feel like my chances of survival, at least I got night that I can also now I got shade.
Seek shelter.
Maybe I go under the car for some shade, something along those lines. Problem is, if it's too cold and
it's a wrap.
And it's 4 p.m. Well, what's going to happen when it's midnight? So I don't really have a way out of that one.
Cold is worse than heat.
Yeah.
Heat sucks when you're sweat, but you can at least, if you could find one lone cactus in the desert and just move with the shadow, you can kind of try to make that happen.
We have survived. We're survivors.
When it's cold, that's it. That's a wrap. You'd be frozen in the front seat with your seatbelt still on. That's where they'd find you. Hands on the wheel, 2 and 10.
Why did he have his seatbelt on? Safety first, guys.
Safety first.
Safety
Nick
first.
Silverman writes, I'm a ghostwriter who works primarily in memoir writing. If you had to write the memoir of one ESPN LA host, who would you choose? And it can't be yourself.
I think this is easy just because I interact with you the most now, right? So back in the day, if I was on the other side, I'm probably writing a memoir on Cates or Ron or one of those other guys. But because we literally do 3 hours and 15 minutes every single day, Monday through Friday, I think it's got to be on you.
You know the most about me, but like if you could peel the onion on everybody, I think it's got to be Mason, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I would say Mace I feel like he has the most interesting background. He's done a lot of things. I think Ireland has really cool stories that would make a very colorful book, but I think I would go with those two.
And Mason's worked in a lot of different markets and a lot of different places with a lot of different people. I think he would be.
He's got some interesting stories there.
He lived on a billboard.
Let's say
for a while.
his real name is TT, so we gotta say we don't TT.
I heard that. Yeah, the promo. Believe it or not, Morales started airing it like crazy. I would have never. I would never have thought that.
Yeah, who would have seen that one coming? Daniel Tapia. Slee goes to the movies, and the theater is empty. You get your pick of the seats, and everyone else that walks in sits close to you. Do you move or do you stay where you are?
If I'm already posted, I'm posted. Like I'm done.
You're
like
by yourself. The theater's empty. You sit exactly where you want. Next thing you know, 10 more people come in, and they're sitting oddly close to you. You're going to stay there?
So let me flip the script here. Let's say that there's somebody sitting wherever they're sitting. They found a good seat. They're in the middle, few rows back. I'm not personally going to sit next to them. But if I'm already posted and, I'm chilling, I'm relaxing, I'm not going to get up and move. That's it. You guys want to come in, bring it in. You know what? Pull the handle up. Bring it in here for a second. What's your name? Ryan?
Get you something to drink?
Get in here.
Want some of this popcorn? You just lean your bucket over his way, let him stick his hand in there.
You get a licorice.
Handfuls.
So where I go, it's like you have assigned seats. And I have even, when people sit next to me,
nice.
Well, but even when people sit next to me, sometimes I will, and it's like there's a lot of open seats in the theater, I will ask to move. I'll ask because like the waiter or waitress will come over and like ask for stuff, and I'm like,
let's go back. I got a couple questions.
Is there anything that I can take? Is there anything open in the next 2 rows? And like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I will move because I really don't like being next to someone else.
So it's because you're right next to them, but there's a seat in between. You're fine?
Seat in between, very fine. If it's literally the seat next to me, that's when I move. Especially if there's like the 2 front rows, I will take the 2 front rows.
They wanted that seat, right? They wanted that angle.
It's like the
closest they got to the center.
Right. You want to be in the center most of the way up.
Actually,
right?
I prefer the end of the aisle.
You like the aisle?
I like to be able to, if I need to go to the bathroom and I'm not disturbing anybody else, I like to get out and I like to be the end of the aisle.
I like to be middle front row.
I know you do. I can't really listen to her opinions on movies. She hasn't even seen the short foreign language.
I mean, they were
nominees.
Oscar nominated.
I did buy a ticket for this afternoon.
Don't
Alan.
try to explain yourself.
People are sitting there watching Cocaine Bear. I'm just going to watch Oscar nominated.
You care about
films.
cinema. You care about the art of making a film.
What happened to people like me?
Emily just goes to the movies. You go see films. That's the difference. It's the difference in these things.
That's a great setup. That was really good.
All right, these are related. 2 different people, but they're related. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to start with GFish21, but I'm going to go into John in Fullerton.
Oh, okay. Merging the tweets.
GFish says, even though Sliwa won't say it, can you tell that he's kind of bummed that I'm back? And then number 2 says, John, what's the thing you missed most about Trav when he's not around? So they kind of go together. And let's start with Greg. Are you secretly bummed that I came back?
No, not at all. I even came in. How about just to kind of prove
early.
It? I came usually when we do it, and it's not even the time, but usually I'm like, all right, you do your thing, I'm going to do mine, and then it's kind of actually fresher for the show too if we don't really talk too much. I came right in, came all the way around. I'm like, T-Raj.
You even gave me a little fist bump.
I was like, where the hell have you been?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
When we did. I left, came back, you left.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is,
what did you miss most about me?
Okay, look, this is a real thing, and I mentioned this last week. There's something about sitting in that seat. It's different.
Driving.
Yeah, I was giving the example of usually when you and I do a show, you got your hands on the wheel and you're paying attention on the road. I'm looking out the window this way, looking out over there. I'm chewing sunflower seeds. And I'm like, Trev, pay attention to the road. I'm trying to.
Do you see that? Look at that play. That's beautiful. I'm trying not to drive into oncoming traffic.
Use
here.
the restroom whenever I want. I mean, it's completely different.
I'm going to need you to forget you said that because that's the perfect example of the difference between those two, and I'm stealing that as my own line moving forward. That this is driving the car, you're riding shotgun.
And I never look in front of me.
Having some snacks, like, yeah.
How many times have you guys said, Alan, we already talked about that? I was like, I forgot. I was looking out the window.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
It comes up
Get a
occasionally.
lot more of me in your ear. Are you okay? Because we know that was an issue before that Laura pointed out.
Yeah,
Apparently, you don't
like
really
that.
like it. But
I didn't know I didn't like that.
I think
but,
it's fine.
but I thought it was fun.
Emily, I'm fine with you talking into my ear.
Thanks.
You know that. One last one. Darb says, how many times did Slee shoot someone at ESPN a text to say hi or share a picture while he was off? I want to take this one. You sent me some pictures from Mexico.
Yeah, I did.
Now, let me be accurate. Did you send them from Mexico, or had you come back by the
Still
time
in
you sent
Mexico.
them? Yeah, they were pretty awesome pictures.
Yeah, it was still in Mexico.
Look, one of like this beautiful
The
cathedral.
cathedral was like the center of the city.
And then some food pics.
And then a couple food pics. So, who did I send? Emily, did we connect at all?
No, I think you only texted Travis, but it's okay.
And you
Okay.
did text me to ask about the hookup at Rotolo.
At Rotolo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I got two.
You got two. One of those was, I think, on my way to the airport. It was like a very business
Hey, Trav,
business text.
my cousin Julian needs a hookup.
Yep,
Hey, can
that's
you
exactly
reach out
what
to
it
Rotolo?
was.
I said, yes,
that's
I can
exactly
do
what
that.
it was. Yeah. Other than that, I think cousin Slee got a text. I don't think anybody else from ESPN got anything. Yeah, I think that was it.
One of one. By the way,
think
that
that
looks
was
like
it.
a good
Special.
trip. I want to hear about it. I feel like you've already talked about it. Can I ask questions? Or are we
Sure,
going
no,
over
you could-
old
no, you can
ground?
ask questions,
All right,
yeah.
we're going to do that. Plus, there's a little spring training baseball on right now. We're going to get back to the Lakers. That's coming up. But why did we wait 30 years to do this? Because this works. It's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
And it is Travis and Sliwa, your Monday. As we celebrate the Lakers' huge win, react with us all day long.
Look, and they throw it into the back court. It's a turnover.
But you could put
Lakers. Oh, my gosh.
Mason and Ireland coming up at 1 p.m. Shidano and Cap at 4 p.m. Lakers Talk with Slee tonight at 7 p.m. Don't miss a moment all Monday long. Right now, don't miss more of Travis and Sliwa on 710.
So I'm a city guy, Al.
Yeah.
Born in a big city, have lived my entire lives in big city. Born in L.A. I've lived in Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Houston.
Yep.
Okay, those are 3 big cities. It's nice to go to a smaller city occasionally, and not like a town. Maybe a town is a better word. I was in a town this weekend up in Oregon, small place. I have my flight's coming up, and we have to check out of the hotel by 11. So about 10:30, I go on my phone, and I pull up Uber. And I'm like, okay, I need a Uber. I'm going to the airport. Yep. Send. Thing just spins and spins and spins. It spins for like 10 minutes. Then it comes back and says, yep, no drivers in your area. Try again later. I'm like,
no, the app is actually, it's app geo-targeted. It does not work.
Okay.
Not available.
I wait 10 minutes and I try it again. Thing spins for another 10 or 15 minutes. Nope, still no. I'm now I'm getting worried. I got to get to the airport. Everybody else has already left, right? I have to get to the airport. It's about 40 minutes away. And I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Start jogging.
So I call the resort, and I said, hey, listen, I can't get an Uber. And they're like, yeah, sometimes it can be hard. I need to get to the airport. They're like, oh, yeah, we can take you. Like, what? Like, what do you mean you can take me? Yeah, just...
I got a minivan. I got 2 kids in the back, but...
Almost. So, just come up to the lodge, and we'll have a van. We'll run you over there. I'm like, run me over there? It's 45 minutes away. It's not like you're running me down to the grocery store to pick up a loaf of bread.
Now that's small town.
Small town.
That's small town. By the way, that's cool. That's cool that you had
so
like
nice.
Yeah.
It was so nice. I'm thinking, not in your wildest dreams would somebody go, yeah, just come on down. We'll take care of it for you. I was like, well, this is really nice. Now, don't get me wrong. I prefer a place where I can just hit a button and a car shows up to my front door. That's better, but this was very nice.
I'm going to go to the Ritz.
No, it wasn't. It was, like Al said, it was literally like this cargo van.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the Ritz after the show and just, can I get a ride to Pasadena? Let me see if the front lobby gal is...
The concierge. I'll pull my car around. We'll
get in here.
It was something else. No Ubers, Al. It's a pretty small town. None.
But there are some, I'm sure, positives and negatives about being in a small town like that. First off, it's pretty cool where it's just so much different than what we're accustomed to, right? Whether you're born and raised in L.A. or you've lived in L.A. for a while or anywhere in Southern California, whatever you need, like that.
Yep.
The type of food you want, restaurant, DoorDash, like, doesn't matter. Like you're talking about with Ubers, everything is right in front of you. Man, does it change when you go into just a different small town? There's a unique adjustment.
Adjustment is the right word. I like cities. I feel like every time you're like, I'm going to chuck it. I'm going to a small town. You'll never hear. Nah, I'd last like a day, and then I'd need my Uber. And it's like, nah.
That's why you're coming camping with me this summer, wherever we go.
No.
The problem is now in some of these camp places, you got service everywhere. So, like, I could literally be like, "Oh,
DoorDash, Taco Bell."
No, I could literally
take 2 burrito supremes and a crunch wrap.
I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking more of, man, it's so nice to be so peaceful and quiet. I'm gonna get back on the internet. Throw my headphones and I'm watching Cocaine Bear out in the middle of Joshua Tree.
I got to get caught up on Drive to Survive. Big F1 race coming up this weekend. That's crazy.
Keep it down over there.
Lakers with a great win yesterday against the Mavs, come back from 27-point down. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. But, Slee, baseball games, spring training, right? The games don't really matter. They're not important, et cetera, et cetera.
It's interesting.
They're taking 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2:35, 2:40. They've shaved like a half an hour off of the average game time. And I have yet to run into anybody that thinks that this is a bad idea. Like, why didn't we do this? Nobody's complaining about the pitchers or the batters. They're both on a timer. A baseball game should take 2.5 hours, maybe 2:40 if it's a slower moving game. And let's go. This is brilliant. Why didn't we do this sooner?
All right, I don't have an answer for you, but I will tell you it is kind of adding this entire element of intrigue. I saw some of Scherzer's quotes that he loves the new rules. He actually thinks it's great for pitchers because now you're almost kind of setting the pace type of a thing. I just look at it as this way. I look at it as baseball has been so behind on wanting to catch up with some of the other sports. Okay, Clay and I talked a little bit about this on Friday. There was a time in the NBA where 86-84 Pistons and the Spurs, and there's a good chance not that many people are going to watch that game, or that it's just the product is not entertaining enough. And I'm not saying that every game is going to be like this, but you have games now where Dame can drop 71 like he did yesterday.
Yeah.
You can have games where the Lakers put up 124 and it's not that big of a deal.
Games are in the 120s regularly.
The only thing that hurts the NBA, that delays it, is some of these reviews. Put that to the side for a quick second. I think other sports have been better at just how can we make the product more entertaining without taking away the product, right? Like without hurting the game. I love this for baseball. I almost like kind of see it for how fast the game is sped up. I now see myself like running from my seats, go up, get a quick beer here real quick, and I got to run back.
You don't want to miss something.
Because everybody else is running. Like, I don't know. Listen, I don't know what we're going to be saying in 3-4 months from now, but I have a feeling that this is a really, really good positive move for baseball.
These things, I don't care what they are. They're NBA, Major League Baseball, the NFL, all of them. All these sports that you and I care about as much as we do, the reason we talk about them all day, the reason people are listening to us, we're investing in stuff. At the end of the day, they're entertainment products. They're no different than a TV show. They're no different than a movie.
Yep.
They're no different than a book, right? They're entertainment products that if I'm not entertained by this, I'm not going to watch it. And you need a lot of people to do it. What makes baseball fun is not watching 16 strikeouts in a game. It's not watching, 2 home runs and a final score of 3-2 because there was a couple of walks in there. It's plays at the bases. It's the ball being pitched and hit.
Action.
And plays.
Yeah.
This is a better entertainment product. Everybody understands it. It's better. It's more like the game that I think somebody like myself grew up with, where there's things happening, where you're making decisions.
Yep.
It's just a better viewing experience where guys aren't pulling on their cup and pulling up their sleeves and the Nomar Garciaparra batting glove on-off thing over and over again. A pitcher walking around, taking 10 minutes to get a sign. There's ball one. Okay, then we got to go through it all over again. Another 90 seconds comes off the clock. Strike one. Ball one. Strike one. I mean, you're getting pitches every 15 or 20 seconds. Now, what you can't have happen is what happened yesterday. Again, spring training, and they're trying to enforce these rules to get people used to them.
That's when you do it, is in spring training.
100%.
Yeah.
There was a walk-off clock violation yesterday. The Braves and the Red Sox were playing a game. It's the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs, full count. Right? This is what we're here for. The game's going to end one way or the other. We'll see what happens. You didn't get in the batter's box with more than 8 seconds left on the clock. Ball 4, you're out, or strike 3, I should say, you're out. Game ends. I don't want that. Let's use these rules with a little bit of judgment involved. Let's use these rules to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you this one, but if you're out of here, I am going to bang you on this next one. This is all we need. Guys need to have it happen occasionally. I do not want somebody to end a game on one of these things, but if you're calling them out in the 3rd inning, the 5th inning, the 2nd inning, the 8th inning, they're not going to be out of the box in the 9th inning. It'll work.
One of the most exciting endings to a game that I've ever personally seen and been a part of. But you're right about that. And I think this is where this has happened a lot in other sports where they start enforcing it in preseason or they start enforcing it in spring training. All they're trying to do, Trav, is just get you prepared. Look, when the regular season starts, we need you to...
Do you think they'll go back because the NBA does at the end? We're going to emphasize hand checking. We're going to emphasize pass interference. We're going to emphasize guys getting out of the box. And then we get to the middle of April and it's right back to the way that it was.
I don't think it will be. I think there's too much emphasis on what they're doing right now. I actually really think that this will work. I think this will be a more entertaining product. I don't think they're going to go away from it. I really don't.
What are you more excited about? The fact that they've had these rules like the clock and the shift being banned, or the fact that the Padres have bought every good player there is to buy over the last 6 months?
We might be on the payroll. They're paying everybody. They're giving everybody money.
In the what is going on with those
They're
guys?
giving everybody money.
Machado got $350 million for 11 years.
Yep.
That's on the heels of Tatis getting $340 million for 14 years. That's on the heels of Bogarts getting $211 million or $280 million for 11 years. They gave Musgrove a 9-figure contract.
Yep.
They gave Darvish a 9-figure contract, and they still haven't even paid Juan Soto. What? Huh? What? When the Dodgers did this, it's like, yeah, I don't love this, but whatever. The Yankees have been doing this forever and ever. They've got 4 guys. They're going to make $300 million.
Okay, we got a couple things here. We do this coming back, but there was some interesting quotes coming. I think they were from Tony Clark, right? The head of the union for baseball.
San Diegan, by the way.
And I'm curious to get your thoughts on. I know this is the San Diego Padres spending money, and this isn't the New York market, or it's not the L.A. market. But it's kind of fascinating because I think it's put a lot of other owners in an uncomfortable situation where everybody's looking at the Padres and saying, wait, if Seidler is doing this in that market, you can't get your payroll up to $140 million, $150 million. I think that's an interesting conversation because I listen, I don't know. Seidler is obviously doing something for a city that is in desperation to have something to cheer about in sports, but I don't know how that will change baseball from some of these other owners' perspective. May not change anything at all.
It might not, but it'll make their fans a little more unruly. It'll make them a little more frustrated that they can't do what this guy's done. The question is, what exactly has he done, and will it work? That's coming up next. Plus, more on the Lakers, a 27-point comeback. Biggest comeback in the NBA, and don't look now, the Lakers have momentum. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 7. All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
Travis and Sliwa, your Monday, as we react all day long to the Lakers now 4-1 with the new crew, yo. But we're still going to work in a little Factor Cap with producer Emily. Factor Cap with M coming up around 11:30 this hour right here on Travis and Sliwa.
So you're getting out to play pickleball on Thursday, you said?
Thursday, yeah.
When it's supposed to be windy and rainy and everything else?
I don't think rain.
No rain.
I think we're good. That's the only reason why I picked Thursday, plus Lakers don't have a game, so we'll find out what happens.
Are we going to be on the court at any point together prior to March 18th when this whole thing kicks off?
Okay, question for you. Is it tough? So we're about 15 minutes away from a court in South Pasadena. Is it tough for you after one of these shows we go straight out there?
No.
Okay, then I think what we do is we pick a day next week and we go out there and we play.
Okay. We with two others, or we just play the two of us?
We're just going to go by ourselves because we got to prepare. It's like we mentally got to get there.
I like it.
Like right now, the only reason why I'm playing with Yates, Jorge, and Berg is just completely trying to...
This will be your very first time.
It would be my first time. Yes, I don't have anything after that. It would be my first time, but it's more to kind of see what their game is like.
Oh, a little scouting trip.
Yeah, I have not shared that with them.
Good.
See what I'm saying?
But make sure you take notes immediately following so it doesn't kind of drift off and you forget.
Al, why do you have a helmet cam on? No.
Yates can't go to his backhand. Just pound Yates' backhand or whatever. Go to Berg's feet over and over and over again. Of course, we're talking about our inaugural Pickleball Madness tournament coming up on March 18th. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. Reserved seating is available. You can register at espnla.com. Of course, it is open to the general public, so come on out, hang out with us, press the flesh, and get to know each other. Thanks to our sponsors, Michelob Ultra, Bud Light Seltzer, and Pizza Hut. There's going to be TVs to watch all your basketball games. There's Pop-A-Shot. There's pickleball demos and lessons. There's lots for the kids to do in the kids zone. There's a beer garden. There's complimentary food and drinks, music, entertainment. You will have a great time, so come on out to the Agape Pickleball Center at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley on March 18th and watch Sliwa and I get beat in the first round, right? That's what's going to happen.
Actually, can I be honest with you? And I don't know what the draw is. I don't know if it's going to be like the March Madness tournament where I can't believe we got Duke in the first round. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be like that.
Well, if it's any of the listeners, it is Duke in the first round. It's UCLA.
Yeah, it cannot be the listeners.
You lose.
We need to play another ESPN team.
Yeah, we need who got in by just winning
the conference tournament.
Yes, that's what we need. We need one of those.
Yeah.
Because even if it's like the sixth best team in the ACC, we're going to be in some trouble. I think you and I, this is coming from somebody who's still never played the game before.
Okay.
I think we'll kind of be able to hold our own. I've played tennis. I've played ping pong. I'm assuming it's kind of the same concept here.
It is, and it isn't. It's angles like tennis.
Okay.
But it's also very quick and short. Like the points don't develop over a long period of time. You need to get to the kitchen as quickly as you can. That's how quickly. And here's the thing: I played when you were in Mexico.
Yep.
I played again, and I couldn't walk for 2 days afterwards because of my knee. So we're not really built for a long run through this tournament.
Are you done playing? Or I know we'll do it next week, but are you like, okay, I'm not going to play a couple days a week because of your?
I'm still trying to figure the game. I stink.
You're Braun
really
right now in the final 20 games. You have to be very strategic how we use your minutes.
Well, then maybe I'll save them for when we go next week, and that'll be my last tune-up before we go.
Okay.
Trying to get a little bit of length in my game. I'm trying to get a little bit of endurance to where if we do win a match, I can actually stand up in the second match. But we'll see.
It should be like the NBA playoffs where we have 2 days off after we win one match. This tournament should be drawn out.
So if it's on the 18th, we'll see you on the 25th. We're going to come back the following Saturday, and we'll play our second round match. The Padres signed Machado to a giant deal. Just very quickly,
Yep.
Machado $350 for 11, Tatis $340 for 14, Xander Bogaerts 11 years, $280 million, Musgrove over $100 million, Darvish over $100 million, and you still have to pay Juan Soto. All of the guys that we just mentioned are somewhere between good to very good to excellent Major League Baseball players. The odds are probably pretty darn good that at least half of those guys will underperform those deals. Half of them will probably get to there, and maybe if you're very lucky, I don't know if you can overperform one of these. But if this goes badly, this could be the ultimate cautionary tale for a team like the Padres, who finally has an owner that's got all the dough and says, I'm going to just go buy who's good. Oh, Bogaerts, I'll take him. Soto, take all my prospects and I'll pay him. Machado needs an extension. How about 11 years, nearly 4? Just money. If it doesn't work and he's got multiple guys on double-digit year deals making $35, $40 million a year, how in the world do you ever dig out from underneath that?
So it's kind of fascinating because you see this more in bigger markets. You see this was kind of the Yankees, even though Yankees were bringing up a lot of people, but it's not. This is not accustomed to a mid-market or a smaller market. I don't have the answer for you, but what I can tell you, I think there's a lot of people that respect the risk. He actually said something that Seidler had said this. I don't know if it was a group of reporters or this was with the LA Times, but last week we were reading some some quotes. He said there's as much risk in not doing anything. So what he's basically trying to say is, it's not guaranteed to work. I'm not telling you this is the blueprint. I'm telling you this is what I'm doing. I'm going to tell you I'm trying this. I'm telling you that Soto's got 2 more years on his contract before he does have to get paid. That the Padres won a round against a 111-win team for the first time. They hadn't won a playoff series since 2006. So it's not guaranteed to work, but I think it's a risk that he's saying I could stand here and do nothing or try to do it like everybody else, or I can try to take some big swings and some big moves. And like you said, it could come back and haunt them for the next 5, 6, 7 years on the end of those contracts. They could also cash in a World Series and never win a World Series.
Could. And this isn't a perfect comparison for all of these guys, but I think it's the cautionary tale. The deal that the Angels gave Albert Pujols, right? They gave him a 10-year deal right as he was aging out of his prime.
Yeah.
He was still good,
yeah,
but he was not Albert Pujols. He was just past prime Pujols.
St. Louis got the prime.
Yep. And you paid for the next 10 years and literally got nothing out of it. Imagine if you had 5 of those guys. That's what could potentially... Soto's not one of those guys because he's so young. So Soto's off the board.
But Bogarts will be 41. And Machado will be 41. Yes. I think will be 41.
Yes.
Tatis, there's different questions around him.
Different questions, but questions. Not age questions, but maturity
Other
questions. And things like that. So if half of those things, you have to kind of look at it like Pujols, which is, I need to, whatever we're going to get done, we need to get done and I'll ask you as a Padre fan, is it a 3-year window? Do you have to grab one in that first 3 years? Can you push it out to 4 or 5? Because every year that you don't get it, it becomes less likely that it does because you're going to get some attrition.
It feels like it's now. It feels like it has to happen.
What's the time frame now? Like 2023 or?
I think the Soto deal, Juan Soto's guaranteed for 2 more years. So I think you got to ask yourself, can you make it to the World Series in the next 2 years? And then I can't tell you what happens after that. And I know that sounds like...
I can. You've got Machado and Bogarts and Darvish and all these other guys on the hook for big dough for a long... and Tatis.
So the only good thing I would say is, you're right, they're long-term deals. But let's just say Bogarts is good for 5 of the 11 years that he's guaranteed. Let's just say Machado is really good for 5 of the X amount of years that he's guaranteed. Then you have a larger window. The Soto thing is fascinating to me because you went out and traded everybody to go get him. And now, and it's unique in the sense like Ohtani, if you went out and tried to trade him this deadline, you're only guaranteed a couple of months with him.
Yeah.
At least with Soto, they get 3 playoff, that one's already gone, 2 more left to go. I think that I look at Soto as kind of the most interesting factor of the whole thing. Can you really afford Juan Soto, who's probably going to get $450 or $500 million, something along those lines? The answer is probably no. So that's why I think that Soto window is interesting.
You think he's likely to leave?
I don't know if he's likely to leave. I just know that that's $450 or $500 million for Juan Soto.
I don't know Peter Seidler's bank statements, but if you can do all this, do another. Like at some point, it's just monopoly money, right? Like, I've already got Machado and Tatis. Like, just throw Soto on the pile too. Give him $500, and we'll just keep this thing rolling.
I don't know how much the business side of this gets affected, but I will tell you that there's a waiting list for season tickets that's never happened before in San Diego. That place is going to be freaking sold out.
Oh, for sure.
For the most part, all the time. Your sponsorship revenue is going to go up like crazy. I don't know what their TV deal is with Bally's. Bally's is also in some kind of bankrupt
they all are.
realignment, whatever they're doing. I think there's also, and I think the one other thing that the Padres have going for them is there's nobody else in town. San Diego's not a small market, but they are the only thing in town that dominates that entire city, so they don't have to share that pot with, in L.A., you're sharing it with so many other teams.
Dave Roberts was asked about their matchup with the Padres coming up. They're a heck of a ball club. They've done a lot of good things, and I think we're going to have this conversation all year long. Oh, yeah. And what'll be interesting, too, is the Dodgers have dealt with this for the better part of 8 or 9 years. Yeah, you're supposed to win. Why didn't you win? And the weight that we've talked about, the weight that comes along with, and WEIGHT, not wait like you're waiting in line, the heaviness of Well, you're supposed to win every night. You're supposed to win every series. You're supposed to be in first place.
Dave Roberts saying before the season started, right?
We're winning there is no, hey, you guys are really good. It's you're supposed to be. And that's heavy. Padres have never had that. They got it now.
Yeah.
Because let's say April, right? The first month, let's say you go 14-12. It's like I didn't pay this kind of money to be a 500 team. What if you go 12-14? And it's baseball so long. Okay, fast forward to the end of the second month of the season, and you're 30-27. You're good, but you're not very good. And that weight gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And these guys, for the most part, have not had to deal with that.
And everyone's watching you. This isn't a San Diego thing. This is everyone is watching you. And hell, we're having a conversation about them. And we're in L.A. And I think this is going to be the first time where really over this 8 to 10 year window that you're talking about the Dodgers and you're saying there's a legitimate team before the season starts that has a chance to win the NL West. And if the Dodgers don't win it, it won't be a shock or surprise.
Strike quick phone call here. Let's go to Huntington Beach and Paul. Paul, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Paul?
Oh, man, it's baseball season. Good to talk to you guys. Look, the Padres are absolutely fascinating. I tip of the hat to them, right? Spending money. But there are a ton of aging bats in that roster for a long time and a ton of money thrown at bats and position players. At the end of the day, their pitching is good. Their pitching is not great. Yeah, I don't know what Yu Darvish looks like a year and a half from now, and Blake Snell is not someone you can count on, and Joe Musgrove is a great number 2 starter on any good rotation. But those guys, you got to go and win through. And look, they're going to win a bunch of games in the course of a season. Is this team built to win a championship? I don't know. And your point, Travis, about having 5 guys to have a Pujols contract is really, really well taken. I think of it like this, Travis. Think about that early 90s Dodgers when they're throwing out like Eddie Murray, Eric Davis, Darryl Strawberry all on one team, and it just doesn't work. You can look really, really good on paper, but on paper it doesn't win you a championship. And as a Dodger fan, God knows we know that. Hey, we'll talk to you soon, more as the season goes on. See you guys.
Thanks, Paul. Well, like you said at the end there, you don't have to go back to the early 90s. You can look at this Dodger team over the last 10 years. They've had expensive, high-profile, very good players, and the results have been disappointing. They've won a ton of games. They've won the pennant 3 times, won a World Series championship. But I think if you ask Dodger fans over the last 10 years, should you have more or less than you have right now?
There's nobody that's going to say
no. Yeah. And no one's saying, no, I think we got what we're supposed to get. No. Mm-hmm. You've had less than you're supposed to get. And they got to deal with that they're dealing with it right now. They got a very different team. And you know who's expected to win the most games in Major League Baseball this season, according to Vegas? The Dodgers. They're the number 1. They're at 1 game more than the Houston Astros. And it's just that they know how to deal with that. The Padres, we'll find out.
Well, from what I've been told, that SeaWorld might be up for sale and the Coronado Bridge if they can't cash in a World Series in the next 5 years.
Bridge. It's pretty.
It's just that's the rumor right now.
Hotel Dell. Do I get the Dell with the bridge, or
it comes
is that
with
separate?
the bridge?
Good. That's all I want. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Oh,
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, I don't know if you guys can tell that I've just been emotionally destroyed every Sunday evening for the past 7 weeks.
All of us can tell.
The Last of Us literally destroys my soul after every episode. But it's
I just started
show.
watching it.
I know. I'm not saying anything else.
Oh yeah, I just started watching. I've watched 4 episodes.
What show? Say it again.
Well,
what
great.
show?
Last of Us.
Oh,
You weren't even listening to what she was saying.
Well, no, she said it was intertwined so quickly.
That
I haven't seen
zombie fungus video
Infected,
game.
Yes.
Apocalypse.
Apocalyptic. Yes.
I played the video game, so it's pretty cool because you're actually seeing the video game shots in the actual show.
There's a lot of
I
crossover.
believe both of you. I believe everybody.
All right.
It's really good.
So here, can I real
Go
quick?
ahead, go ahead.
I think I'm going to watch it out. Without exception.
Don't tell me.
Without exception, everybody that has seen it's like it's awesome. You need to watch it.
It's really good.
Everybody has said it's terrific.
And I'll tell you this: you very rarely actually see any zombies in the first 4 episodes.
Well, there goes that. So don't
I mean,
expect zombies in
no,
the
first
first
2 episodes, there's
No,
a lot
4
of
episodes.
zombies.
There's some zombies, but it's not like out of control.
There's a medium amount of zombies, Slee.
No. It's like it's,
Cocaine
it's
Bear.
Not,
You
it's
gonna
not
do Cocaine Bear?
I want to see it so badly, but I
Okay.
can't take my daughter to it. So
that's
finding
We talked
time.
about it last Friday.
Yeah,
All right.
geez, not paying attention to anything.
All right, so apocalyptic mall is featured in yesterday's episode, so that's nothing. I'm not spoiling anything. An apocalyptic mall was featured, so
I've played
I got
the
me
game. I know
thinking
what's
about mall things. So mall dates were the place to be in middle school. So going to the mall with a date was the thing in middle school. Travis, Factor Cap.
Yeah, it kind of was because you had a little bit, and this is, we're all of different ages here, but in the 80s when I was in middle school, right, that was ground zero for everything that you wanted. There was food.
Yeah.
There were games. There was a movie theater. If you in certain places, there would be like an ice skating rink in these malls. So
J.C. Penney.
you could walk through J.C. Penney and get a pair of pants if you needed to. But yeah, as a 8th grader, you can't drive. You need a place that's safe where your parents are comfortable leaving you alone. So the mall was you go grab an Orange Julius and see a movie. Who says no?
Or mom could be shopping somewhere else,
Mom-
but you get to go somewhere else. Someone
That
else.
I didn't
Yeah.
like as much because then your mom would see you talking to girls and then
right.
she'd have
Yeah.
questions and it was just very uncomfortable.
Berg.
100% fact, because I used to go to the Fallbrook Mall and the Topanga Mall, and both of those were just massive for this kind of thing. There's, like you said, they had the Orange Julius and all that stuff, but the Fallbrook Mall also had a Q-Zar, which was
I can see
laser
Berg
tag.
walking around.
Laser
Oh,
tag.
okay.
So you go and you play laser tag. You got there's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stuff going on. It was great. There was at the time the Topanga Mall was just one strip, and everybody was always walking up and down it, so you were always running into people and doing. It was a great time.
Place
now
to
it's
be.
gigantic and it's impossible to find anything.
I
Al?
could see Berg walking around the mall, fur jacket, lady on each hand, just
Kane.
kind of
Is he
walking
Joe Namath?
down.
No, he's Zastro.
Zastro,
even better.
Yes, hey, I will take
Berg
Zastro.
pointing
every day
at
of the week.
people at Foot Locker, like, yeah, just get my
The wink and the gun.
cap for me, because my parents would definitely not drop me off at the mall and say, hey, just go spend a couple hours out there. They were just, I almost had like a wristband.
A low jack?
Yeah, they were just, hey, wherever you go, let us know. Furthest I think I got was down the street to Parker's house. So we'd hang out there. So it wasn't happening at the mall.
Parker Bell, the guy from the back.
Not Parker.
No?
not that
Different Parker?
Different Parker.
Taylor.
Cap. So we're talking about small towns earlier. My town had 3,000 people and definitely did not have a mall. The closest one is about 30 miles away. So bowling alley was actually the place to be for
Good one, too.
Yeah.
Arcade, food,
Yep.
bowling.
And,
I
Chi-
mean,
and
it's
Chinese
also a similar
fast food.
vibe to a mall. You know, it's just not the shopping part, but
Yep.
you have the good parts of where you would take the dates on the.
Text
on the
Susan
mall.
right now, see if she wants to go to the mall. I haven't been to the mall in a while.
Just
We'll go get a hot dog on a
Cinnabon.
stick and go
Hey,
see.
their strawberry lemonade is delicious.
It is.
Once
pretty
you
good.
smell the cinnamon in the mall, you're going to go the other way.
Oh, Cinnabon. Oh, yeah.
All right. So speaking of which, a lot of malls have big arcade game areas. So you are good at arcade games right now. You are good at arcade games. Berg, Factor Cap.
So, no, this is funny. Adam Bronson just had his birthday, and he had it at an arcade thing this Saturday, and I was terrible at all of them. Every one of those
What'd you play?
games. I played the racing one.
Yep.
The old school ones. I played the Simpsons old school one, Golden Axe. Really, really bad.
Golden Axe.
Golden Axe. You never played that game? No. It was all
Is it like Golden Tea?
I mean, NBA Jam was there.
Oh, that's fun.
NBA and NFL Blitz. So actually beat Carlo in both of those. But yeah, no, not great at arcade games. Can't do them. Can't play Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
Al?
So the actual like arcade games, I paid less attention to. I was more to how am I getting some tickets? How am I getting the actual, like, that to me is where...
Like skee-ball and shooting.
Yeah, it was more that type of stuff, right? So I wasn't playing as... And it was so stupid. Like, I was looking at it from a, well, you know, if I get this material, I get a bouncy ball, that. I can't get that at Street Fighter 2. I can't get that one. So I don't think I was great at those specific games you're talking about, but it's the other ones that you're getting tickets for that I'd pay more attention to.
Sometimes they have those. There's 6 buttons, and they don't label any of the buttons. You don't know what they are.
The claw sucks.
Oh, I'm so bad at that.
It's rigged to not work.
It is rigged, but I've got a few in my
Not
day.
true.
I lost $80 there.
It is true that it's rigged to not work.
I have a friend that gets a prize every single
you can hack
time.
it.
On the claw?
On the claw. Yes.
I've never seen anyone ever pull anything out of the claw.
I watched. We would go
you could
bowling.
pull 'em. Yeah, you could pull them. You're just going to lose 17 times before you get
she would
one.
go, and every single time would pull out a toy. She'd walk out with massive amounts of toys.
You can hack a claw machine, but it's also rigged for it to not work.
What do you mean you can hack? Like I feel like there's like a black market.
Yeah, go on.
I don't know how
down,
to
left,
do
right,
it.
A, B, A,
I
B,
just
F.
know that people can.
Yes.
I just know that there are people that do this all the time, and they like just get to the place where they can get around the rigging of the game. So
Did you ever take the tickets out? If you take them out slowly,
You get an extra.
Oh yeah,
one or two.
you get a couple extra. Yeah.
Just keep going.
Chad, what about this?
Criminal.
I'm terrible at all of those things. Like, I stink at video. I've never been good at video games in my entire life, going all the way back to Pong in the 70s to whatever version of Madden they're on now. Every year, my boys will get, the new Madden or the new NHL or the new FIFA or whatever.
Yeah.
They get all the games.
Or MLB
Dad,
The Show.
You'd really like this. You'd really, really like it. Come and play with us. And I'll sit there for maybe 10 minutes before I'm so incredibly frustrated. There's too many things on the thing.
You guys are grounded.
It's awful. It's awful. I stink at all of those things.
Taylor?
Cap. I'm Miss Pac-Man might be my best. NBA Jam. I can play
NBA
that.
Jam was fun.
Mario Kart. Mario Kart was my
Mario Kart
favorite
was
back
fun
in the
too.
day.
So
Yeah, it was fun. That was fun.
So if you had to eat at one food court restaurant forever, that's the only place you can eat, it'd be Chick-fil-A. Taylor, Fed or Cap?
That's a nice food court. I haven't been to the mall in a long
That's
time.
a really good food.
I mean,
Yeah.
my food court at my mall at home in Virginia always had Chick-fil-A, and I think that I don't think they have so many here. But Taylor,
I'll go with. I think Del Amo Mall has pinks in there. I'll go with that.
all right, Trav.
No, it wouldn't be Chick-fil-A for me. I don't dislike Chick-fil-A, but it's not like something I would look forward to eating over and over. I'm trying to think what's in there.
Real
like
Italian, like the Sbarro.
Esbarro,
yeah,
which I love to.
That's
yeah.
what I was thinking.
Do you get some vegetables at Sbarro?
So
such a
here's
good
the thing.
scene.
Maybe you
Office.
go because they always have like that off-brand Chinese restaurant
Yeah.
in the mall. It's never Panda Express. It's
No.
always kind of Super Golden Dragon Fortune or
Panda
whatever.
Supreme.
Right.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
Maybe that because there's at least vegetables in some of that you could try. Because after a couple of days of Philly cheesesteaks, you're going to want something different.
Berg?
So I'm going Chinese.
So it's Cap because Chick-fil-A is massively overrated. You got upset.
Oh no, I'm good. I got
I've already
upset.
debated this with you.
Yes,
Berg.
we have. We won't do
her
it. We won't do
eyes
it.
came. I felt her eyes on my neck.
Your neck heated up.
So then I was trying to communicate to him.
So
I
it's
just don't
either,
trust your food taste. But
No, because it's not good. Sbarro is one of them, or there used to be in the Topanga Mall a Mongolian barbecue where they had the big. I would get that every.
Or that big giant circle thing where they cook the
and they
meat.
just cook it all on there.
Yeah.
And that is what I would do every single time.
There's just a steakhouse there. It's like oh,
Morton's has a kiosk at the Mission Valley
and
Town
there's
Center.
Sbarro,
Ruth's
the
Chris,
Dragon Place, and then there's
there is
there's
Cheesecake
Morton's.
Factory at a lot of like the Gallerias, like the Glendale one, the Grove and stuff. So that could count.
All right, this one gets me every single time, and it's kind of a no question about it for me. Bro, it's Chinese food. It's all layered there. It's all laid. You can get everything that you want. The egg rolls are waiting for you as well. That's what that was my go-to in the past. I would go to Chinese food.
Okay, I told you that I did damage in Chinese food a couple of weeks ago. The second day, it's great because it heats up really well. It's all good. By the third day, you're like,
It's not coming down.
I don't
No,
ever
it's
want to
not.
eat Chinese food for the rest of my life.
Yeah, months. It takes months to have it again, or it's on Christmas Eve because
But I haven't had it in a while, so it sounds amazing right now. So
Yeah, a big plate of chow mein with some
it's amazing.
Kung Pao chicken piled on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
Those 2 egg rolls for $1.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get 2 of those.
I'll take 4. Here's $2.
So we saw the pitch clock start to be implemented over the weekend, and we saw, how it reduced the amount of time in the games. Everyone seems to like it.
Real quick, before you go any further, Burke, just a quick question. Because they're speeding up the game, they're getting it all done in 2:20 or 2:30.
Yep.
What if Travis and I went really fast during our show, and we got everything out in an hour and a half? Does the show get limited because we did everything just faster?
You are not on a pitch clock. But otherwise,
Okay,
yeah.
that's
get
all.
through.
I just wanted to know. I just want to
I
ask.
guess we will go slower.
So, this leads into my question or statement. So, you would like a pitch clock for things in real life, like someone ordering a drink at a bar or
Yes.
someone ordering food through a drive-thru. You wish that people were on a pitch clock. Travis, fact or cap?
100%.
It's a great idea.
It's a fantastic idea.
There are, if for certain things, right? Like the drive-through, for instance, or when you're at Starbucks and there should be an express line for I just want a coffee or I just want a cappuccino. No modifications. I just want it exactly how it comes. There needs to be a line for that, and we'll pitch clock those people. If you've got a sandwich order that's got 23 different steps about how you need it ordered, then you can go stand in that line over there without the clock. I'll get in the shot clock line. Let's do one of each.
One small thing to add to this, a Scandinavian country actually introduced a chat lane essentially at a grocery store. So they were realizing that a lot of elderly people or lonely people would want to actually chat with people as they were checking out, and so they have a designated lane for people to want to go chat, and everyone else can just go zip through and stuff like an express lane or whatever. But like they, it's a chatty lane, and I think that could actually the opposite of a pitch clock.
As long as you put that on the opposite side of the store from where I'm checking out, that's fine.
I did not have that information earlier.
There's a great episode of The Simpsons where Apu takes Homer to the Monstro Mart or whatever it's called. It's like Costco, and he goes, picks the line. It's nothing but divorced guys, and they go cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Like nobody wants to pay. It's just one guy. Like this line of 30 people goes through, and there's one old lady in the other line. Apu's like, never behind her. Yeah. I deal with these people all day long.
Berg?
This is 100% fact. I love this idea, and to make it even better, there should be a line at every fast food spot that has no modifications.
Yes.
No modification line and a modification line. That way everything just goes by so much faster, because McDonald's has multiple spots, right?
Yes.
That you can go through. One should be for non, one for... I love this idea. I think you should patent it, do something, call all of the restaurants.
Al?
Fact on this, and there's places that it's more important. I'm going to use coffee as a good example. You can't have 3 people in front of you, and then while you're standing there, and now it's your turn because those other 2 are gone, now you're looking up to see what you want. You can't do that.
No.
You can't do that. Just, you had 4 minutes to figure out what you wanted, and it's Starbucks. It's Starbucks. You didn't walk into a brand new restaurant that you've never been to before.
Coffee shop. There's only 3 or 4 different ways you can make a coffee.
And you're having typically the same coffee every single time. So for those people, they need a shot clock. And just like that game ended because he didn't get in the batter's box in time, they have to leave. And they got to either go to the end of the line, or they can't come back into the restaurant for a half hour, or the coffee place for a half hour. So that's my idea there.
Taylor?
Fact, yeah. I need this at 7-Eleven when I get stuck behind the guy buying 45 scratchers and Steel Reserve.
Yeah, don't scratch him right there.
No, that's the thing. They bring the scratcher down and start scratching right there.
It's where you need the chat line. That's where Emily's chat line comes in. I'll chat you up while you scratch your tickets. I'm just here for my beef jerky and my Coke, and I want to keep it moving.
Or it's the scratchers where they're like, I'll take the $5 one, I'll take 3 of the $1, I'll take a 20, I'll take a 1. Like they pound around to all the different ones.
And specific Powerball numbers. I need Powerball with 12, 23, 16.
Wait, is that the number?
You got this one wrong. It's 23.
Hold on. Let me call my wife real fast. Make sure I have the right numbers.
All right, LeBron has a foot injury. How worried should we be? Might be the only bad news in Lakerland right now. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
And it is Travis and Sliwa, your Monday. As we celebrate the Lakers' huge win, react with us all day long.
Driving to the front of the rim, puts it up, no good. Follow jam by Vanderbilt, who's been fantastic today for the Lakers.
Mason and Ireland coming up at 1 p.m. Shidano and Cap at 4 p.m. Lakers talk with Slee tonight at 7 p.m. Don't miss a moment all Monday long. Right now, don't miss more of Travis and Sliwa on 710.
I think we should find a way to play some doubles at some point. We're going to need, because I've only played singles. You're going to play doubles. When we play in the tournament, it's going to be doubles. All doubles. Mm-hmm. We need to be on the court at the same time together. So after we get our round in next week, we need to draft some in to be our opponents.
Yeah.
We need to
yeah,
do it
and
twice.
it can't be the only issue that we have is it can't be like Briones and these guys, because they're going to have their show right after.
Yeah, we'll find somebody. We'll find somebody. We will definitely get it done. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Palmdale and Chris. Chris, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Chris?
Big Daddy Slee and Sweet Tea. How's it going, fellas?
What's going on, Chris?
Hey, man. So, going back to the San Diego topic, the San Diego Clippers, the Padres, excuse me. Look, it's going to be the same thing over and over. Look, Machado, they overpaid player. We had him. We saw what he does, the no hustle. He'll play, though. I'll give him that. He's a solid third baseman, but he loves to take time off. Time off meaning, if a ball's hit to him, there'll be times where he'll make an amazing play, and then there'll be times where he's just like, I'll just fling at it. And it's going to come back to bite him. They overpaid that guy way too much. Guys, great show. Thank you for keeping my drive always good from Palmdale to L.A. Love you guys, man. Stay up.
I appreciate it,
Thanks, Chris. Okay, look, Chris, I want to get on the hater train with you on Manny Machado. You're wrong, brother. Sorry. It's just
he's a ball.
Yeah, I understand your frustration with him. And I share it that there are when one of the quotes a guy says, "What I'm not going to be Johnny Hustle out there." Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I don't like it either. Here are the facts. Manny Machado is a 6-time All-Star, a 2-time Gold Glover, a 1-time Platinum Glover. He finished second in the MVP voting last year. The year before that, he finished 18th. The year before that, he finished third. He also has a 9th, 4th, and 5th place MVP finish. He's really good. Not just kind of good, not just has a good day and a bad day. Manny Machado is one of the best players in baseball. I'm not telling you got to like him, Chris. I'm telling you he's that good of a player. And quite frankly, he's the heart and soul of that Padre team. It's certainly not Tatis. Soto just got there. Bogarts just got there. Machado's kind of the adult in the room. Now, you could argue that's not a good thing, but he is that guy for that team.
So, and by the way, I love that perspective from you, because I think Dodger fans obviously feel a certain way about Machado, and that's okay. I get it. I understand it. It didn't work out here. Like he just said, he's not going to be Johnny Hustle, the whole thing. He is, no question about it, 100% the leader of the San Diego Padres. And I think sometimes I think his experience here in L.A. probably helped him to... Okay, he went from an organization that was incredibly well run. Hey, we can win with you or we can win without you. I think there's things that the Dodgers, it's not one player that's defined the Dodgers. Okay, you can say, well, Kershaw is.
Yeah, but I agree.
But that's a generational player that put him to the side for a quick second. Machado is so important to the San Diego Padres, and I think he has actually taken that leadership role. I'll tell you the sentiment in San Diego when those deals were getting thrown around and then time expired on his deal. Mm-hmm. This is Machado last week, and he kind of talked a little bit about it, but he just left it as is. There was a little bit of, no, you guys kind of got it. You got to take care of Machado. Machado is the heart and soul of this team, at least the last couple of years.
Is he their second best player? Juan Soto's their best player, right?
I don't think it's a lock. I would tell you this. We were talking about this during one of the breaks. I think Soto's going to have a year this year. I think he's going to have a year this year.
But he's one of the 3 or 4 best players in the whole league. He should.
When he came to the Padres last year, he actually didn't have. He came at the trade deadline. Didn't have as good of a year as you would expect for him to come. But now I think full year, he'll get a chance more comfortable with San Diego. I think he's going to have a year. Machado's as good as it gets with a bat as well. So it's not. I'm not
He's
trying to tell you.
Gold Glove caliber third baseman too.
Argument one way or the other of who's got the fact that they're both on the Padres.
Yeah.
I think is obviously important, but the fact that Machado was there when they weren't winning, the fact that Machado was there when they were just kind of starting their up, I think it was important that they took care of him. Now, what that means in the big scheme of things, we'll see 5, 6, 7 years.
Put it to you this way, Chris. If you're thinking about it like this. Are you excited? Well, excited's the wrong word. The Dodgers have a 1-run lead. It's the 9th inning. Manny Machado comes up to bat. What's going through your mind? You don't love it, right? Neither do I. That's what we're talking about. That's the guy that, or their guy. It's the 4th inning, and he's coming up. There's a couple of guys on, and it's 2nd and 3rd.
You're not comfortable.
You're thinking, put him on. Do not give him a pitch to hit. There are certain guys like that. It's Freddie Freeman for the Dodgers. It's Mookie for the Dodgers. These guys not him. Machado's one of those guys. You don't want to face him when it matters because he's going to get you.
What will make this, and I think you and I talked a little bit about this before, the reason why this Dodgers season is very interesting. I'm not telling you that they were so stacked last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the expectations, like you said, when they were in June, you're like, cool, so what's going to happen in October? When they were in August, it's like, awesome. Yeah, I know they're going to break a franchise record as far as wins go, but what's going to happen in October? What I think makes this year more interesting is I actually don't know what the results are going to be for the Dodgers. I think they'll be a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think the Mets are going to be good, and the Padres are going to be good, and the Phillies are going to be good. It's not... If you just say that the Dodgers were here last year and everyone else was here, well, the Dodgers came down because they lost some guys, and I think some players, it kind of even the level field a little bit.
No question
the playing
about
field
it.
a little bit.
There are 4 teams, and then the Braves, the Mets, the Padres, the Dodgers. Take your pick. The Phillies, maybe 5. 5 teams, yeah. Any of those 5 teams could win the pennant, and I wouldn't be surprised. Before, it was the Dodgers are the heavy favorite, and if someone else does it, it's because the Dodgers.
Then it was a surprise.
Right. That the Dodgers found another way to not win. Like, I don't know, just not get a hit for an entire weekend. That's fun. So super fun season. Here we go again. We're starting it all over again. Lakers actually are having a super fun season if the season is the last 5 games. Things are looking up. Is there actual momentum in the building? That's coming up. It's Travis Lee.
At least you didn't eat it like Mace. You're good.
Radio station.
Here we go. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Monday. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Well, yes, what a comeback yesterday in Dallas.
Grabbed by Luka. Ahead to Kyrie. Lays it up. Blocked by LeBron. And no goaltending.
The Lakers have won 4 out of the last 5. Big win since the All-Star break. 21 games left. We celebrate the win all day. Sweet's excited. We're all excited. LA's excited.
Here is Troy Brown. Malik Beasley gives it to LeBron for 3, and we're tied. 81 all. They've come all the way back from 27 down.
To be able to have that ability to be able to say, okay, if we're not shooting well, we can still be in the game. We can still be productive. That's a key for our ball club.
Plus, we're excited that the Clippers have lost 2 in a row in overtime, and that Travis Rogers, T-Raj, Sweet T, has returned from his golfing trip that turned into a snowing trip and then back to a golfing trip. We'll get the details, plus producer Emily, producer Taylor's weekend, and so much more. Time to celebrate for the purple and gold. Travis and Sliwa, your Monday right now.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe the biggest upset of the whole vacation was that I'm back, Slee.
What's that?
I was in 30-degree weather for 4 days. Got my voice.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know how we escaped that, but I was able to do it. And
what's crazy is the photos you showed me. Guy's wearing a tank top the entire time that you golf.
I showed him a picture during the break, and it's literally like down puffy jackets, wool hats.
Beanie,
yeah, it's the whole thing. So
I don't blame you.
They have this, and golf course superintendents / designers take note, because I'm about to give you a great idea. Or it's not my idea, but you need to follow up. They have this thing called the Punch Bowl at Bandon, okay? And think of a practice putting green that's about the size of a football field, only maybe a little wider. Okay? It's big.
Yep.
And it's just covered in all of these slopes and hills and undulations. So it's kind of mini golf.
I was going to say very miniature golf.
It absolutely is. And they have
There's a clown that comes down.
There's no clown. There's no windmill. There's no log swinging over the hole. I hated that one. The log over the hole was
the
impossible.
timing. It's like, what the hell do I time this thing?
But basically, it's a miniature golf putting contest on real grass with real slopes, using real balls, your own putter, and all these things. And you play the little 9-hole course. You come back, and everybody's out there at the same time, but everybody's in everybody's way, so it's no big deal. They have a waitress that goes around and takes your drink orders while you're there doing it, that will bring you cocktails in the punch bowl, on the punch bowl.
Winner, chicken dinner.
We were out there for 2 hours the first day, just rolling. That's
awesome.
I've never had so much fun in my life.
That is awesome.
Every golf course around here, get rid of your putting green. Oh, I'm going to work on my game. Nobody cares.
Nobody
cares about your game. Put some slopes, make it a little bigger, and get a waitress or a waiter out there to start bringing people cocktails. It was amazing.
Play some techno music, bring some foam out there. You know what I'm talking about, Taylor.
They have speakers going. The music is loud.
Badass.
It was awesome. It was.
How many drinks did you have in just that little section? By the way,
2.
I thought I saw a drink because you were just trying to show me like the slopes and everything else.
Well, that's the transfusion.
Who had? Okay, that's the transfusion.
That's my buddy Ryan who had it. We all had transfusions.
That thing looks delicious.
So it's vodka. I would recommend making it a double. That's me. You guys do what you want. A little bit of ginger ale and a little bit of fresh lime, and then just a little squirt of grape juice, believe it or not. That's what turns it that light pink color. Amazing.
We're starting a bar. We're opening up a bar, you and I.
2 of those. Right?
Closes at 8 p.m.
We were out there for maybe closer to 90 minutes. But it wasn't quite 2 hours. 90 minutes. Had 2 of those. I was walking out of there with one eye closed. Like, it's time to go back to the room.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. They were aggressive.
The double on both of them. And which whatever double that is, then you know they're not. Nobody's looking at the pour.
We took the first sip out of these and looked at each other like, really? Like, I'm not going to be able to walk out of this place. We all had 2, and then we went back. It's like, we need to sit down for a minute.
You're hitting every putt. You're just in the absolute zone.
Everybody's drinking the same thing.
That's really, really cool.
It was terrific. That was not the highlight, but the second light.
The picture you painted there, it's awesome.
It was a very good deal. The Lakers win, come back from 27 down, biggest comeback of the NBA season.
How about that?
Beat a team ahead of them in the standings, beat a team that was competing, beat a team that needed to win that game, and you did it because your best players played like it. You did it because your supporting cast played like it. You did it because you continued to compete despite falling behind early. All of these things, Al, minus LeBron having a foot thing that's a little bit, maybe more than a little bit scary.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the first time in over a season, it's like, you know what? let's see what these guys can do. Let's see if they can win more than they lose. Let's see if they can start to move up that ladder in the Western Conference, because that team I saw yesterday, especially in the second half, I'll take my chances. I don't think they're going to win an NBA championship, but for the first time since the 2020 bubble, it's that team can beat just about everybody. Not that they will. I think that team can play with everybody else in the league.
Let me go back to one of the last shows we did together before All-Star break. I was gone, you were gone. We were kind of breaking down, and this was, I think, right after the trade deadline. We were breaking down the last 10 years for the Lakers. And one of the things that I was asking for is, I'm like, can we get something to cheer about? As a Laker fan base, and I know you could sit here, look, they won the championship in the Orlando bubble, but there's no fans around. It's not like you could embrace going to crypto. The following year, we know what happened. The Lakers played the Phoenix Suns. It was limited capacity, and Anthony Davis gets injured. Lakers go up from 2-1. They lose 4-2 to the Phoenix Suns. Lakers went through a stretch where they missed the playoffs 6 years in a row. I mean, I'm sorry. It's been tough for the last year and a half to get excited about Lakers basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could I be overreacting a little bit? Maybe, because they are 4-1 since they went out and made the deals that they did. But I'm going to point something out to you, because I don't think each one of these games are the same. Lakers beat the Warriors. You were gone. That was a Thursday night last week. Lakers beat the Warriors.
I was snowed in. I watched every
You were
minute
snowed
of
in.
it. What do you want to know?
You know how Spectrum plays post game and then they go back to the game. They start it over again. You were probably there for all that too.
I saw every single. We were so excited that there was something on TV that wasn't the Women's Open in Thailand. It's like, yeah,
that took over on Friday. This is my point of how this one's a little bit different. The game against the Warriors, AD scored 12 points.
Mm-hmm.
Game against the Warriors, Bron scored 13 points. The Lakers blew out the Warriors. I know, no Wiggins, no Steph Curry.
Who cares?
But Malik Beasley had 25, 8 guys scored in double figures. Okay? That's how they won that game.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the game last night or yesterday against the Dallas Mavericks. You're down 27 points. And what if I told you Jared Vanderbilt was the most important player on the Lakers yesterday? That he was kind of the igniter that started everything, what he was doing defensively in the third quarter, that Jared Vanderbilt was the most important player for the Lakers yesterday. I'm going to point that out because there's been some games where Bron has played 26 minutes. There's been some games that Bron played 29 minutes. There's been some games where Bron hasn't looked all that great. Lakers still won all of those games. That does not happen with the Los Angeles Lakers. That there are other players that just came in 2 weeks ago, have found ways to contribute. That means you got some real players, some real role players. And it doesn't have to be the same guy every single night. But can you get a couple guys sprinkled in over the course of a game?
What you said, I think, is spot on, because prior to these acquisitions, if the best player on the Lakers wasn't named Anthony Davis or LeBron James in any game, you lose. They could be the best player on the team and they could still lose. But now, like you just said, AD can have a night where he's in the teens. LeBron can have a night where he's in the teens. Malik Beasley's going to go score, what does he have, 27?
He had 25 that
25.
night. He had 7 threes.
Yeah, so he's got 25. We're good, because he, for that night, was good enough to get us where we needed to go. Vanderbilt, yesterday, AD was terrific, don't get me wrong, but Vanderbilt was,
17 rebounds,
he was
4 steals.
Carrying big chunks of that game and leading them in a way that a secondary player has not for a very long time.
And guarded Luka.
You can have guys that are not LeBron James and AD be the best player for a night or play huge roles, and not only are you still in, you can win. That has been true for 2 years, that if AD didn't play out of his mind, or LeBron didn't play out of his mind, or more to the point, both of them play out of their mind, you were going to lose. That's not true anymore. You can have those guys. They can't be bad. But if they're just okay, it's pro sports, it happens, you still got a chance to win. That has not been true for 2 years.
And the Mavs, name me a game where another team has 14 more threes than the other team, and the Lakers still won. Listen,
did you see what Jason Kidd said after the game?
Yeah, I did.
Why didn't call timeouts? Well, I'm not the savior. I'm just watching like everybody else. No, you're not. You're the head coach.
I think he used 2 timeouts. They said something like that.
Yeah, and they were hemorrhaging their lead.
Isn't that the whole point of the coach? Is when things are not going good, that's when you use your timeouts.
You stop it and you
become a head coach.
Yeah, I'm just watching like you guys. No, I mean you didn't buy a ticket like I did. You're not drinking beers like I am.
Go sit in row 7 then.
That was a weird quote. Like I if I were Mark Cuban, I would not love that. I get what he was getting at, but I didn't like that at all.
He was indirectly taking shots at Luka, I think it sounded like, because he said, we got to mature, we got to be able to, well, all those guys are basically over 30 other than Luka.
Yeah.
So he was only
Spends
talking
a lot
about
of time
him.
bitching about the referees.
Okay, so Luka?
Yes.
Oh, no, Luka, that's literally 84% of the game he's looking at the referees. He's admitted that, too. He's talked about how he needs to get that out of his game. It's a bad look for him. He's so good. Stop worrying about the rest. By the way, you're not even playing D while everybody else is going on the other side. Let me point something out real quick. And I this is a indirect compliment to the Lakers, but I just kind of want to lay it out here, okay? Something happened at the NBA trade deadline, which is why I think the Lakers will make the playoffs. And whatever happens from there happens from there.
In the top 8, or you think top 10, and we'll see what happens?
So here's the look. Can you get the top 6? I think they're going to have a real fight to be top 6. So I think they'll be somewhere between that 7 and 10. Okay, and then let's just get to 10, and then we'll worry about trying to get to 8.
Yep.
And then if you get to 8, and then just go from there.
Okay.
But let me just explain what happened at the trade deadline. At the trade deadline, you tell me if any of these teams got better or were even trying to get better. Okay. The Oklahoma City Thunder did not get better at the trade deadline. You could just say they just stayed pat.
Yep.
Leave them alone. They have 400 picks coming up in the next couple of years. The Pelicans stayed pat. They're trying to get Zion to come back, and that's the most important thing for them. The Minnesota Timberwolves got rid of D'Angelo Russell. That was one of the pieces that left. Now, they got Mike Conley, but I don't think they got better. I think they kind of, you could say, stayed pat at best. The Utah Jazz got rid of Mike Conley and got more picks. They didn't get better. I mean, I'm pointing all these teams out because a lot of the teams that are in front of the Lakers did not try to get better or did not get better at the break. Lakers got, I think, a lot better than what they were. Mathematically, they're not so far away that they got to make up 5 games in the span of 20 games. They're a game or 2 behind. Trav, doesn't this look like this is going to slot them at least into that playing tournament?
It certainly feels like it, with the big but that I want to talk about next. And that but is LeBron's foot. Because if you have
it's a different story.
3-game losing streak with only 20 games to go, it's a big deal. If LeBron is out of the lineup for any period of time, and he's going to try to muscle through it, but it's obviously something that's bothering him. We'll do it next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
As we celebrate the Lakers' huge win, react with us all day long.
Look, and they throw it into the back court. It's a turnover.
But you can
the
put
Lakers. Oh, my gosh.
Mason and Ireland coming up at 1 p.m. Shidano and Cap at 4 p.m. Lakers talk with Slee tonight at 7 p.m. Don't miss a moment all Monday long. Right now, don't miss more of Travis and Sliwa on 710.
So listening to that, you got Lakers Talk tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You should answer this question on Lakers Talk. This is from Anthony Rincon, and he says, I'm just not understanding why they waited until February to address the needs, unless they thought they needed Bev and others to increase their value, which to me, none of that was apparent. Because they got Russ off the books. They were able to move some of these guys out. All of these things that wasn't the big blockbuster, right? It wasn't the thing that had been speculated for. These were kind of moves on the edges, good moves, but they feel like moves you could have done a month before the deadline, maybe 6 weeks before the deadline, and given yourself a little bit more runway to try to figure out what it is that you have and maybe chip away at some of this deficit that you built.
So, first off, appreciate it. That could be 10 minutes right there. So we're already at 7:12 right now. T-Raj, I'll tell you this. I think it's easy to look at this right now and say, well, why didn't they just do this 3 months ago? Can I just give you an example of this? How many times did we talk about Buddy Hield and Miles Turner to the Los Angeles Lakers, and that we reached a point where I'm like, Trav, wouldn't they have done it by now if that was going to happen? And it never ended up happening. Do you know the first trade that went down? I'm not sure if it was the official first trade of the trade deadline.
Was it Rui?
I think it was Rui.
Yeah.
It was 2.5 weeks prior. Do you know what every single expert says is that a lot of these deals don't go down until teams have a full understanding of what they have. Are they buyers? Are they sellers? As they're getting closer to the deadline, teams are now maybe a little bit more frantic. If you would have told me, I would focus more on this. And you're not wrong to say, hey, could they have got this done 2 months ago? Because if they could, maybe they're 4 or 5 games over 500 right now, rather than 3 games below 500. But I think they would have if there was an opportunity that was blatant, that made sense. Nothing was going to change.
Wasn't a dance partner?
I don't think there was a dance partner.
Yeah.
Tell me what would have changed, even walking into the season thinking that something was going to be different with Russ. Everybody knew Russ wasn't going to work. Mm-hmm. We could pretend and say, well, Russ, LeBron, and AD only played 21 games last year. Yeah. Sounds good. Those 21 games were enough to say, well, that ain't going to work.
Right.
So I think it's easy to look at it now. The way I would look at it is they made something work with what they had. They obviously upgraded, and I think the question now is, how do you close out the rest of this year? And is there a model or a foundation that you could say, we ain't getting rid of these players next season. Let's keep building.
I think you're going to see, I don't know if they'll all be back, but I think you're going to see some of them back. And I think that you've already have a couple of other guys that are useful players in what it is you do, guys like Austin Reeves that are, we're going to keep him. We're going to use him. This is going
Vanderbilt's under contract. Yep. I think Beasley, they have the team option on. So
they're in a good spot with that. All of these things being equal and assuming that they continue to play the way that they have. LeBron's foot is the great wild card right now because – he got hurt in the third quarter and played a lot after that.
And said the worst thing that you can say. I think I heard a pop or whatever.
Look, if I'm not a doctor, so I didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn Express or whatever that was. If something popped, I don't think he could have played another 10 minutes on it, right? I'm sure it felt weird and hurt and all those things, but I can't imagine he had a pop and played the rest of Darvin said after, because I didn't hear anything about that, right? He went out there and played him heavy minutes throughout the rest of the game. But even if he has to take a little time off, a game here or a game there, or really manage his minutes in the games that he's playing, because they spent 3 months creating this hole, because they're still, even with 4-1 in their last 5, even with 4-1 in your last 5, you're still 12th. Outside of the line. Right. You're still under 500.
Yep.
The margin of error doesn't exist, and this is the ultimate. You're almost. I don't even want to say this for fear of speaking it into existence, but you almost have more faith in AD's health at this point than you do with LeBron, just because that foot, he came out of the Oklahoma City. This has been something that's kept him out of the game fairly regularly.
Plus, LeBron had to carry all those minutes earlier in the season.
Yes.
Plus, LeBron is in his 20th season in the NBA. Plus, LeBron was playing 37, 38, 40. There was an overtime game. He played 43 minutes. I'm looking at the box score. I'm like, this is 2 games. Why is he playing 43? But they didn't have a choice. So I think what you're saying, Look, this is the domino to this. This is the rest of the Lakers season. If everybody's there and everybody's healthy, I feel pretty good that they will get one of those playoff spots, and I feel pretty good that they can have a
I don't mean
tough...
to split this, but get one of the 8 playoff spots or get in the 10, and then we'll see what happens.
So...
Because there's a difference, right? Will they play a series, I guess, is what we're getting at.
It's not... I'll explain what I'm referring to. I don't call a playoff spot the play-in tournament because you're not in, right?
Yes.
Now,
Copy that.
Now, I do think they will end up in a play-in spot to get in.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to be top 6. Top 6, Golden State's about to get healthy with Steph Curry. Even if Dallas comes out, the Warriors probably going to number 6. So they got work to do. Let's just put it that way. But I think the reason why I set it up that way is because the outlier is this. If Bron misses 5 games the rest of the way, I don't think that, the chances of them now
that would be
getting in becomes... And by the way, that's not... He can miss tomorrow because that ankle injury or that injury happened yesterday, and they go back-to-back Memphis and OKC. If Anthony Davis was in a similar spot where he missed 4 or 5 games, they don't have margin for error. Now, if everybody is there, which that doesn't usually happen in the NBA, I like their chances of getting in.
It's funny, as you were saying that, it kind of dawned on me. I think for the first time all season long, nothing weird has to happen for them to get in. They just need to be healthy. If they're healthy for the last 20 games, I really have a hard time envisioning them not, and I'll go a step further, not being one of the top 6. They're only 2 games out of there. What we've seen in these 5 games, they're better than some of these teams that are ahead of them. Doesn't mean that they're going to stay healthy, but it's not fool's gold. It's not one of the, like, for instance, let's go back, what was it, a month or 2 ago when Anthony Davis was kind of like, okay, is this real or not? I don't know what this is, and it turns out it wasn't real. That he got hurt again, and then the Lakers they slipped right back to where they were prior to that. This does not feel inflated. This feels legitimate.
Like a team.
Like a team, right? That if they're healthy, they're getting in. I don't even know. You don't need help. You just need to go win the games that you have left, or the 20 games they have left. To have them win 14 of those games doesn't feel like a stretch anymore.
Just to kind of give everybody an idea of, a lot of times the problem is maybe you don't get to face some of these teams in front of you. They got Minnesota twice coming up. They got OKC twice coming up. They still got the Warriors. They still got the Mavs. They still got Utah twice. I mean, just set that up because a lot of those games are going to be at home, number one. And number 2 is it's not like, hey, the only way we get in is if we win and they all got to lose. You get to at least play these teams in front of you as well. So that's one, I think, positive that you could look at with the schedule.
Can they win without him? And I'm not talking like win a series. Can they get in? Can they win enough games to be one of the 8 teams standing if LeBron misses time?
That might be the biggest thing that was left off of yesterday. We got excited about everything. Bron's quote, I'll read it. He said, "It's been better," talking about his injury. Yep. That's for sure, but I definitely wasn't going to go into the locker room and not finish the game out tonight. Just understood the importance of the game, the momentum that we had. I felt like we could still win the game after being down. Can they win without him? My answer would be no, because they have not won without him at any stage of his career that he's been with the Lakers. Do they have more role players now that can make it more interesting? They do, but I haven't never seen anything since Bron has been a Laker to say that the Lakers can stand above water without him or even stand pat, and the problem is they can't stand pat. They got to be above water.
So Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, Beasley, Vanderbilt. Who do you want to throw in there for your 5th guy at this point? Hachimura?
Sure.
Okay.
Reeves, Hachimura, yeah.
Yeah. They can win some games. I don't know if they'll win enough, but that's not okay, we're dead. This is how much it's changed. To win a series, they're going to have him. But to get in, as long as it's not, I'm down for 2 weeks.
I was going to say, how many games are you saying? Like he misses 5 games?
4 or 5. Let's say it's 4 or 5. If he plays in 15 of the final 20,
they go 3-2 when he's gone.
Even if they go 2-3, I know that you're digging the hole a little deeper, but they've dug a little bit out of it. And I don't know, maybe it's just the glow of what happened yesterday, but that did not feel fluky. That felt like a good team that got hot, that played hard, that beat another team that came unglued.
I'm not disagreeing that the team's not better, but I'm going to give you one example of Lakers without LeBron. They went up to Portland to play the Blazers. Bron didn't play that game. Do you know who played in that game? Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder, Vanderbilt, all those guys. They were down 19 at the half.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's going to happen every time. Portland was hitting every shot, the whole thing, but they were also missing Jeremy Grant and Yusuf Nurkic. I hesitate if Bron's not there that the team could have any success.
This kind of goes together with the shift being banned and the pitch clock and all this other stuff that, you know what, tinkering with your league is a good idea, because without this play-in stuff, what are we talking about, right? Now it's this, you got to get to the 8th spot, but because there's the play-in, because there's this extra 2 spots, basically the entire Western Conference minus 2 teams is in it. This is one of those things, like, why did we not come up with this?
Well, I want to do it the way you and I have talked about it. I wish there was just a threshold. I don't want the Spurs, who were 14 games below 500, to make the number 10 last year.
No, that's a bad deal.
But these are 500 teams.
These are teams that are floating around 500, and it feels, especially, look, OKC's probably not going to make it. I don't think you want to play those guys. Those guys are fun to watch.
Sure.
They play hard. They got a lot of
nothing to
athleticism.
lose.
Nothing.
Shea is the man.
Let's go. That is an interesting mix. Throw stuff. I don't know if that in-season tournament is going to be anything that's going to catch on, but I'm here for just let's try it and see. And if it sucks, and don't do it again. Because this thing is kind of, and maybe it's just Al simply because the Lakers have been bad for 2 years in a row that you had to talk yourself into the lie of the play-in is fun because you don't have an actually good team. But hey,
it's kept it intriguing. And it keeps even, there's the races almost at the bottom are as interesting as the races at the top.
Yeah, for us.
For right now.
For us.
Because of the Lakers. Yeah, you're right. Because of the Lakers.
If all these teams were bunched up, you just put the Lakers up at 2. Are you paying any attention at all?
No, I'm not. No. Actually, that's a good point. I'm not. But I'm just going to go back to this. I just wish that there was a threshold of, hey, if you're below 500 and you're the number 10th spot, 10 is out. 7 is in, 8 and 9 will play each other to get in for that final spot.
I could go for that. Yates is in the house. Hi, Clinton.
What's up, Yates?
We got some baseball to talk, Travis. I have some specific questions
for
you after a weekend.
There's
pickleball, but
Thursday.
after a weekend of spring training stuff, we got some.
I'm here.
Is Dave Roberts on the hot seat?
No.
Well, maybe. We'll see. Give me a week and we'll figure it out. It's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee. 7
Here's Alan Sliwa.
Do you have like a taco guy, like a go-to person, like in your phone, his name, and then it says taco guy, or no? I'm honestly, like, do you go to the same person?
We have a couple that we use.
Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Got your main guy, and then you got a backup guy in case the main guy's already booked. You got to have contingency plans. For instance, what's the contingency when one of us tears an Achilles getting ready for the pickleball tournament, which is coming up March 18th, 10-4 at the Agape Pickleball Center, Mile Square Park in Fountain Valley. Reserve seating is available. You can go register at espnla.com. Of course, the event is open to the general public, so come on out and hang out and press the flesh with us. Big thanks to Michelob Ultra, Bud Light Seltzer, and Pizza Hut. And it's not just us playing pickleball, as exciting as all that is, guys. There's TVs to watch all the college basketball, which will be going on. Pop a shot. There's pickleball demos and lessons. If you've never played, you can get a chance to do that. There's things for the kids to do. There's a kids zone. There's a beer garden, complimentary food and drink, live DJ and entertainment, prizes, giveaways, 360 photo booth. I dare you not to have a good time.
I don't know how many beers that Clinton's going to have during his match, but I got a feeling the over-under right now is 3.
0. During the match?
Yeah.
No. I am not Beto Duran. I am not capable of playing anything with any level of
Beto
skill.
tailgates everywhere.
After
he's going to go to the mall,
any
he's
level
tailgating.
of consumption. I can't do it that way.
I can't
do it that way. Especially not pickleball.
You were talking
pickleball
about
is not like softball lends itself to
Yes,
that because
pickleball does not.
I can stand at first base and drink
Sure.
a beer,
Exactly.
but I cannot stand in the kitchen.
You know, I love having a Hennessy and then playing 5-on-5.
That's about what it's like.
Okay, so I came for a very specific reason to talk to you guys, Trav, mainly because you're a baseball guy. Now, the rule changes that have been instituted in spring training are multifold. We don't necessarily have to review all of them. However, this is the first weekend in Major League Baseball spring training. There have been games where they've applied these. Now, I asked for a little exercise, Slee, before this break started, which was look what's on the screen and tell me what you see.
So I'm assuming what you're talking about is the pitch clock.
Yes.
Okay, so there's literally the equivalent of a shot clock in the NBA. 20 starts at 20, 19, 18 goes down.
Okay, now philosophically, I love the pitch clock. The first time I ever saw it, Nashville Sounds game, I had a random night in Nashville, popped over to the yard, boom, lickety split, 2:15, 9-inning game. I was like, okay.
Is that where they started everything? They started out in
this was years ago. Yeah,
okay.
I was like, I'm a fan of this. Now, they start to institute it for various minor leagues. I'm like, okay. You go to the park, you see it, you don't really think about it. College baseball does it in a couple places as well. Dude, watching it on TV, I don't need the clock on my screen.
You'll get used to it.
But I don't think we need to be getting used to it. What we should be getting used to is just the play happening and not looking at the clock. Because when
you're focused on the clock right now?
It's not that you're focused on the clock, but it adds an oddball level of distraction that I don't get it. Like, we don't need – the point of the changes, Travis, and this is what I want to get your thoughts on, is to change the pace of the game without you actually noticing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To make the watchability of the baseball at a better level. The clock introduction, strictly on the telecast, I think is a step too far. I really actually do.
Did you notice that?
I noticed that it was on.
Yeah.
I noticed it, but it doesn't hit me the way that it does
I would even go so far as to keep it out of telecasts altogether as best I can.
Yeah, but the weird thing would happen then, Yates, and because all of a sudden an umpire's just popping out from behind home plate and putting a strike on the board, I think you need to know. It's one of these things that at first glance it looks odd, it looks awkward. Like the first time Fox put the score bug on TV, it's like, well, I don't need to see that. The first time a first base coach put a helmet on, you're like, well, that looks weird.
I get it.
And 5 minutes later, you're like, I didn't even notice anymore. It'll blend in
treat
the
it
background.
like the NFL with the
turn it on when it
play
comes
clock
later in the clock.
where it's just beside the bug.
Or better example, you treat it like you treat a serve clock in tennis. It's not mentioned until it's broken. That, to me, is closer to where you're trying to actually...
It's the biggest number of any of the
It's the biggest number on the scorebook. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's weird to me. And I'm not like going crazy about it because I get what it's there for. But I think there's this conception that the rule changes in baseball are supposed to be like, oh, look at that cool new rule change. No.
They should also start like sounding an alarm at 5.
The rule changes are there to make you like... They're there to make you like what's already happening better. They're not there to make you focus on the
siren
changes.
from 9 seconds down.
Hurricane siren.
Like a tsunami warning. You can hear it 3 states over.
Okay, but you also, we were talking
you see
about
what
this.
I'm saying, though?
We were talking about this on Friday, and I think this probably plays along to the same thing. The strike zone. that you hate.
The K zone can go to. This is an extension of the same
Explain
philosophy.
to him what you're talking about, because I think this does tie in.
I think the K zone being on the screen
You're talking about the box on
has
the screen.
drastically affected the likability of a lot of watching, and it's put this small minority of humans who are obsessed with the minutia of the strike zone into the forefront of everything that a baseball fan is. But my point is that what you're trying to do is get people to not think about the rule changes and watch baseball. If you've got a clock ticking in red, like
it doesn't hit me like that.
It doesn't. I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird to me.
The games are moving fast. The ball's in play more. There are more hits. The games are played at a much more reasonable clip. And I'm not distracted.
I think he likes the concept.
Yes.
You just don't like the clock.
Specifically on the telecast. Because it's not like when you go to a ballpark, you're ever looking at the clock, even though it's there.
Okay, but here's the difference.
You see what I mean?
I know what you mean. I just don't agree. Like, for instance, when you go to a football game, right, you do get that sense of we have to be getting close to this. And you go to the end zone, and you'll find it at 4 or 5.
Right.
And you will look. And I think that this will become the same thing. Just because on a football telecast, there is a play clock. And when it gets, I think, under 8, it turns red and starts to flash or whatever it is. So you know you're getting a little closer.
Is the shot clock on the screen in the NBA
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah,
24?
it is. But those are
on
also,
our screen?
Those are internal clocks within larger clocks.
But
there's no larger clock in baseball.
Let me ask you this. Is that the aesthetics of what you're looking at that bother you, or is it that it's on there at all? Because it is.
I think it's on there at all.
It's oddly large.
Yeah,
it
is large.
It is oddly large,
Yeah.
but I think it's gonna fade.
But do you understand what I'm
I think
saying?
they should make it bigger.
There was a
and
day.
also take the pitcher out. Just have it kind of go over him.
Travis, this is my last example that I'll use to try to get you to explain what I mean. Remember when they first started limiting mound visits?
Mm-hmm.
And
MVR,
and they started putting them on the screen, and people were like, "We don't need to know that." You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to know how many mound visits are happening in a game. I can live my life knowing that as it comes up. I'm the same way with the pitch clock. I like it conceptually. I don't want to have to look at it while I'm watching baseball. I want that option, just like when I'm at the park.
It's a good first step. Now, what happens moving forward? I think just the concept of them doing what they're doing. If they adjust it and say, "Yeah, this looks too big," I think whatever happens.
The clock thing, I think they've got it figured out. Regardless of the aesthetics, it works and it improves the product. Once we get a month or two of games, real games, where the best pitchers are facing the best hitters on a regular basis, I think we'll have a better idea of what the shift being banned looks like. Well, all of a sudden, if you have 25 guys, 30 guys, maybe 50 guys that are hitting over 300 and a bunch of guys on base again, I understand it's not a value stat the way it used to be, but
there's value.
Of course there is.
There's value.
Of course there is. And it's one of these things that I like seeing hits. I like seeing guys on base. I like seeing, are we going to hit and run?
Little bingo, as we like to say.
Let's go play baseball. It's not home run derby off of a pitcher trying to strike you out, which is what it's become. It's not, my math is a little bit better than yours, and I know where to put that third baseman in right field because my guy had a 3.9 at MIT and your guy only had a 3.6.
So we're closer. We're close in theory.
Yeah, I want the game to be baseball. I want runners. I want hits. I want runs. I don't care if ERAs come up. I want batting averages to come up. I want runs per game to come up. And I want the time spent watching nothing to come down.
Totally with you.
And I feel like we're on the right track.
We are certainly on the right track. And I don't want to say I'm picking nits. I just want to get the point across that the purpose of the changes is so that the entirety of the product is better.
Yes.
Can I give you an example? Look up at that TV. The Fullerton Bakersfield game.
Oh, the worst court in the country.
Look at the shot clock. Look how small it is.
Yeah.
The 14, the
That's
13.
true.
You see that?
Yeah, that's tiny.
How small it is.
Right.
This one is the main score.
It's too big.
It's the main score.
I'm not arguing that it's not too big, but it doesn't bother me that it's
the
there.
reason why I wanted to come in here and talk to you is that it never had occurred to me that they put it on the screen.
Let's cut to the chase of the baseball story that matters the most this weekend.
What's up?
The Gauchos swept the Ducks in Eugene.
I saw that. Go Chos! I mean, and like
I watched every
inning.
A
power presence. Like I remember. I keep an eye on the Chos just for the sake of having something to talk to Travis about. A bunch of top 10 teams went down, lost series this weekend, but that was probably the biggest of the upsets.
You know how you know everything's fine with the weather, Al? The team that was the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos in Santa Barbara, California, maybe the finest climate on earth, left the state to go to Eugene because the series was supposed to be here. They're like, the weather in Eugene will be better than Santa Barbara. Let's go up there. Everything's fine.
And the Chos pulled it out.
Everything's fine.
Unbelievable.
Sweep. Broke out the brooms on them, Sliwa.
But yeah.
There you go.
I don't need a shot clock in baseball.
Gaucho segment right there.
I want the clock to be bigger now, just based off of...
You know what they should do? They should hire a guy with, like, cue cards. 24.
Oh,
Flips
right.
it over. 23. 22.
Or it's like in the TV studio. It's like, this is a minute.
Sweating
this is 30,
profusely in
down to 10.
Cincinnati in August, just like a freaking.
I like it. More runs is better. The Dump coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Dump.
I want to start right here, Al. Damian Lillard tied the high game of the season last night with 71. Donovan Mitchell had 71 earlier in the year. Dame gets 71. The Blazers win. That's why they're still ahead of the Lakers. It's only 2 times this year, but 71 is a ton of points. Are we ever going to see somebody get 100?
Well, this is kind of what's crazy is when Dame did it yesterday. So Clipper game was on Denver, and they had said during the broadcast, Dame's doing something special. He was at like 40 at halftime.
Okay.
And then 56 by this. He goes for 71. You know what's kind of crazy? And I hate to say this. I was like, yeah, but Donovan Mitchell already did. Like, I was already starting to put this thing out there that, well, I've seen 70. Devin Booker did it a few years back. I know Kobe's the 81. I don't think anyone gets to 100. No, I don't think it happens. And I know what you're saying, that a guy like Dame can get cooking, and he could have 41 at the half. Well, can't somebody get to 46-ish at the half? And now all of a sudden you're looking at it, and now you're doing the math and saying, well, if he gets in that third quarter, can he get 25? And if he does, now he's within striking distance. I just think it's been so long, and obviously it's never happened other than Will, that I don't think it happens. But the fact that conversation last night in my own head became a casual 71 really bothered me.
Well, we've gotten to the point where the shooting is better than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
And they can shoot from further and further back.
And it's guards doing this.
Yes.
Where before it had to be, David Robinson, it had to be Wilt, it had to be those guys.
Wilt playing against firemen and plumbers, right? Or whatever that line was that J.J. Redick had. Here's the thing, and I don't think so either. I agree with you that 100 feels just a little bit out of reach, because when you break it down, you have to make 8 threes every quarter. 8 threes in a game is a lot.
14 is the record.
You have to make 8 threes in a quarter, 4 quarters in a row, and you're still one short. You still got to hit another one. You have to hit 33 threes to get to 99. Steph Curry is amazing. Lillard, amazing. They're not hitting 33 threes.
What if it's just 50 mid-range jumpers?
Get to the foul line a handful of times, but I think we will see somebody get close to 80. I think because how many? You may know this. I don't know the answer off the top of my head. When Kobe had 81, how many threes did he have? I bet it wasn't 10.
Threes, I don't know.
Yeah,
the threes, I don't know.
My guess is it probably wasn't 10. Maybe it was, but to get now 10 threes in a game. I mean, Malik Beasley hit 7 the other night. Okay, no disrespect to Malik Beasley. That's not Steph Curry. It's not Klay Thompson or Lillard. It's Malik Beasley. Could somebody get to 20? Yeah, and then have a bunch of free throws and a handful of layups and runouts?
He was 7 of 13 on 3, Kobe.
There you go. He made 7 threes and scored 81.
Got to the free throw line 20 times, 18 of 20.
That helps.
Yeah.
That helps. But when you look at it like that, if you can get to 80 with 20 free throw attempts and 7 made threes, 80 doesn't feel out of the question for the way that it is right now.
By the way, just heads up, Brian Cook played 8 minutes that game. He was 1 for 1 from the field. He had 2 points. The box score's open. I might as well just give you some more info.
This is interesting. The Washington Commanders have released quarterback Carson Wentz, that via Adam Schefter. That went south fast, right? Wentz he and Goff come 1-2. Was that, Emily, 2016 draft?
Yes.
2016 draft, those guys go 1-2. Both the Rams and the Eagles move way up to get those guys. Comes in, Wentz looks good right away. Goff looks like he'd never seen a football before. He looks terrible. 0 for 7 as a starter his rookie year. The next year, he's good. He ultimately ends up going to the Super Bowl for the Rams and having a nice Rams career. Wentz turns into a pumpkin. He really gets hurt against the Rams at the Coliseum.
Yep.
Nick Foles comes in, takes him to the Super Bowl. Wentz was never good after that. Leaves Philly, goes to Indy, bad in Indy, goes to D.C., bad in D.C. He's going to be on his 4th team next year in 7 years as the number 2 overall pick. That guy turned into a you-know-what overnight virtually.
Okay, I didn't get a chance to ask you about this. I did, and this was, you're gone, you're doing your thing. What do you think of some of this Ram stuff?
Like Bobby Wagner?
Bobby Wagner, the Jalen Ramsey, which...
Jalen Ramsey, the writing's been on the wall now.
I think
for
so,
a long
too.
Time. That feels like it's more likely than not. And look, they're retooling.
I was going to say, so are you not rebuilding because Stafford is there, Kupp is there, Aaron Donald's there, Sean McVay is there, but these are also key pieces that you're saying to yourself, all right, if we move these, what can we get in? I know they're trying to free up cap space.
I think they're kind of trying to thread that needle between not a full rebuild, but also we're going to make some moves to try to get some picks, to try to get a little deeper. Because as bad as they were last year, it wasn't that Aaron Donald, prior to getting sat down, was having a good year. Jalen Ramsey had a pretty good year. Bobby Wagner was an all-pro.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner was
Cooper
amazing.
Kupp was having a great year until he got hurt. So they didn't have any depth. So you got all these star players that when they're all healthy, great. But when all of a sudden your starters in other places start to drop like flies, like the Rams do, it doesn't matter how good Bobby Wagner is. The Bobby Wagner one was weird because Bobby Wagner plays a position that the Rams really never emphasized anyway. That you go back to when Sean McVay came here, middle linebacker for the Rams was kind of like, you had guys like Mark Barron, you had Corey Littleton, you had Clay, like you just didn't have a bunch of guys.
You didn't need the best of the best there.
So they went and got the best of the best. He was an all-pro, and they cut him loose. I know it's a financial thing, but I think they're looking at the structure of that defense that they really didn't have to have what he brings, as good as it is, as much as anything else.
Difficulty is going to be if they do trade Jalen Ramsey, what that secondary looks like, because the secondary was relying on Jalen Ramsey to do everything essentially, and already was kind of Swiss cheese at times, so it's going to be difficult.
I would push back on that a little bit. I don't think it was Swiss cheese as much as it is that the offense was dreadful and they were out on the field the whole game.
There's no margin for error.
Really,
and there's
like if you go through it, they weren't giving up 30 points a game. Defense was actually
but they
pretty
couldn't
good.
tackle Travis.
But they weren't giving up points. This is what they've done. The Rams weren't losing games 42-40 because they couldn't stop anybody. They're losing games 17-10.
And they were out on the field probably 2.5 quarters. Minimum.
At least.
Yeah,
at
minimum.
least. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. The draft's coming up next month. That'll be interesting. because I think you're going to have a really good idea. If they start trading back, then you know that they're going in a different direction. And that's when, by the way, we can talk about this tomorrow. I'm not totally convinced they aren't trying to find a way right here, right now, to go find a way to get Caleb Williams. I know that other teams are probably doing the exact same thing, but that feels like a juice of the highest level. In other words, a local college product who people are familiar with, who didn't come from another team. He's your guy that you build around. And if he's as good as he looks like he might be, that could be really interesting. That could really kind of kickstart that thing in a whole new way.
Well, you just said it too, right? How many franchises are looking at him right now as saying, that's going to be our savior, that's going to be our savior? Probably 7, 8, 10 franchises.
Yeah, but if you're willing to pay the premium to move up to get to that top spot, and look, by the way, they may be close enough anyway. You're going to have, they're the 5th worst record in the league anyway. Weirder things have happened. UCLA is the outright Pac-12 regular season basketball champion for the first time in over a decade. That the Bruins are your regular season Pac-12 champs. That's hard to believe.
All right, so there's a couple things hard to believe. That part of it, yes. Man, is it just me? Wasn't there a time where, I don't know how you feel about this, college basketball used to be fun. I used to like college basketball. I did. And San Diego State's ranked number 18.
Yeah, they're good.
San Diego State needed a buzzer beater versus New Mexico.
Saturday,
are you really?
I am.
Okay, they needed a buzzer beater to beat New Mexico on the road, the whole thing. Okay, that part's kind of cool. There was some.
Watch that while it was snowing too.
Did you see the Arizona State game?
Yeah, it's on.
The 60-footer.
It was on, I saw it. Spent a lot
see
of
Murder
time
She Wrote.
Murder She Wrote in Columbo. Watch, we ran through the whole series.
All right, so the only reason why I mention that is it feels like it should be a bigger deal. Is it that big of a deal that UCLA won the Pac-12 championship?
I think if you're a UCLA basketball
fan,
it is.
So it's very, very, very specific to that. But for the broad part of LA,
they're 4th in the country, I want to say.
Number 4 in the country.
Yeah.
At least number 4 coming in to the weekend. I don't know if they changed today.
Here's how the sport has changed so much, too. That UCLA actually is kind of the outlier where their best players have been here for a minute. Juzang has been here. Not Juzang. Jaquez has been here for a while. Tiger Campbell has been here for a while. Like these guys.
So you got a chance to actually.
But did you? I didn't. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it. Not breaking it down every day, talking about the Bruins.
Maybe it's just Berg. Honestly, there's probably unless you're really, really into. I know for college football it's a completely different thing, but college basketball, even when we get into March Madness, that's going to take a second to. Yeah, you'll enjoy it for a couple of weeks and then it's over.
Will I? Because I haven't. Ready?
No, you won't enjoy it for a couple of weeks.
I haven't watched the tournament in 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't watch it. I mean, it
still rates well. Some people out there watching.
I get it, and I get that people like to fill out brackets and all those things.
Coke is still a sponsor.
I don't. Yeah, no, they're making money. CBS and TNT and
All
everybody
State.
else. But it's okay. Not a Bruin.
Yeah.
Not an Aztec. Can you name 5 college basketball players? I can't.
No.
Flo Thamba.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's hard to watch them when you just don't know who any of these guys are along the way. Chip Kelly talks about how he has to coach these guys that he has right now differently, that they are part of the TikTok generation. Here's the Bruins head coach.
You're dealing with a TikTok generation. You don't have to agree with that or whatever. They learn in short bursts. That's it. There's a professor at the University of Washington named John Medina. He wrote a book called Brain Rules. He said no class should be longer than a half hour. You know why? Because they don't pay attention. So we don't meet very long. But again, that preparation part, our coaches are unbelievable at their presentation and how they present them, and they keep the players engaged. Education is the transportation of knowledge. Can I transport my knowledge to him so he knows that we can go out in the field and we can go? Because it doesn't matter what you knew. It matters what they know.
Okay, before we get to the TikTokification of young people, Chip Kelly is on to something here, because the reason he became Chip Kelly was when he was at Oregon, he did it different than everyone else. They played really fast with incredible pace, and they changed college football to the point where pretty much everybody plays like that now. And what he was on earlier than everybody else was that pace and that tempo and monitoring guys' sleep and what they would eat and what they would drink and when they would do meetings and not do meetings. And if this is the next evolution of that, hey, listen, we're not going to practice for more than a half an hour. We might practice twice a day, but we're only going to do this, and we're only going to have a meeting. It's really interesting that if he could crack the code a different way.
I think I like him kind of explaining it that way, because that really truly is how we are. I find myself doing this. And by the way, I don't have TikTok, but I find myself, if I'm watching something for more than 7 minutes and it's semi-interesting, okay, next one. or you find yourself just kind of swiping through some of these shorts. It's just that's kind of the attention span that we have because that's the attention span that goes into it. I'm part of the TikTok generation.
Mace, you're the TikTok generation.
Let me see here. I'm not on TikTok,
No?
but I do scroll through it, right? I'll go to it and I'll scroll through it, but I don't create funny dance videos. I mean, God knows I could.
You should start.
Of course you can.
Funny dances are
You should start.
are me.
Wow, Momo's here.
Momo's here. Momo's you're part
Are you
of
on TikTok, Momo?
No. Yeah, Momo tried TikTok with me.
Yeah, we were
I
bad.
remember
We
you
were
guys did that.
terrible at it. We decided to
Too
quit
much
doing
work, and we were not that funny. And
it. Yeah.
Emily,
no.
are you our only regular TikToker amongst the...
I don't create content. I just watch content. But yeah, I think I'm the only one that's really addicted to TikTok.
Yeah, see, I watch content.
You do?
I do watch content. I'll scroll through because there's funny stuff
Yeah,
on
there
there.
is.
There's useful stuff. Like my mom gets recipes off TikTok, like that
And
kind of stuff.
it's like this,
Exactly,
right? Like you
and-
just literally go through it.
Chip Kelly is dead on the money with this stuff.
Those short little bursts of getting people's attention, I think.
Yep.
If I know I'm only going to be here for 20 minutes, I'll listen for 20 minutes.
Sure.
If I know I got to be in this classroom for 2.5 hours,
I'll pick
I'm
and
just trying to
choose.
get to the end of the line.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
trying to survive till the end so I can go home. I'm not going to listen to anybody for
The other
2.5
thing about
hours.
this generation.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Well, another thing
Old
about
man
this
yells at
generation.
cloud.
Soapbox,
No,
okay.
not at all yelling at
Yeah.
clouds. Visual learning
Yeah.
as opposed to classroom learning.
Yeah.
Like
Collaborative learning, too. where
Collaborative
every
learning, yeah.
schoolwork is all
Okay.
done in teams now.
This doesn't have a tie, or does this have a tie? We keep talking about the baseball and the pitching clock. Does that kind of your attention span, if you could take a 3-hour game to
It's
2.5,
where the
if
two
you could
things
keep
met
the
in middle.
action
Baseball-
going?
Baseball got way too long and even by
Baseball
older
is-
people.
Yes, yes.
It was way too long.
Yeah.
Nine
And
relief
add-
pitchers. It's
and
like, oh,
add
come
in
on.
the backside of guys are just taking too long to do it, so it kind of meets in the
Yeah,
middle.
that's right.
It's both of those things simultaneously. Let's do a little Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K2560X 99.1 FM, Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Well, Momo, you've piqued my curiosity,
Yeah.
shall we say?
What
That you've got,
what is this
You've got a
great
story for us
here?
all right, so about 3 a.m. Saturday night, our power goes off, which we can tell because all the baby monitors announce it.
Oh, okay.
Right? We have had an interruption where you will not be able to hear your crying children, right? We have like 2 of the monitors, right? And we both are like, oh, okay, well, they'll be all right, I guess so.
Babies did survive pre-monitors.
Yeah, and also like my husband just went in the other room so he could hear him.
Sure.
You know? And he was like, "You sleep, honey. I went to sleep," because he goes to sleep early, so it wasn't that big a deal. Anyway, we're like, "Oh, how long is this going to take?" Right? Well, we have a Tesla. This is the 1% part.
Uh-oh.
We have a Tesla Powerwall. This was something that we invested in during the pandemic for just such a situation. We were like, should we get one of those loud generators that come on when your power goes off? Or should we get like the newfangled Tesla Powerwall that everyone's talking about?
So it's like
right?
a solar cell that stores power?
Yeah, it stores power, and it's
Okay.
supposed to like when your power, and it's also supposed to be
It takes your
eco-friendly,
neighbor's-
right?
It's like a generator.
It's like a generator,
takes your
except
neighbor's
really
power.
quiet. Yeah,
But it doesn't run on gas.
right, and if you
Okay.
criticize it, it bans you. No, I'm just kidding. So that was a meta joke there. You'll get it
Okay.
in about 1 minute.
It'll come
well,
back
that-
around.
Sure?
Yeah.
It's awfully early for me to get a joke.
Okay, so it just didn't even come on at all. And I go, what happened to the power wall? It's supposed to come on when our power goes out. Nevin goes out there. It like something tripped the switch, and it was not storing power for like months, and it was never going to come on. And I was like, well, it's supposed to like alert you when that happens.
shouldn't
What's
you
the
get a
point of this
notification?
thing? Like, what is the point? And I was like, okay, well, whatever. How long is the power really going to be out? They said 3 p.m. I go, that's a long time.
And it went out at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, it went out 3 a.m. Okay, 3 p.m. comes. It's not back on. Now it's getting cold and dark. Okay, because if you can open the windows for a while and just be like, whatever, we won't use a microwave. But now it's getting dark, and then we called the DWP and said, oh, it's gonna be 3 a.m.
So 24 hours without
Yeah,
power.
it's gonna be 24 hours.
Did a
And
tree
it's-
land on your lines or
No,
something?
it's like the whole neighborhood. So I go to Lowe's, and I'm like, it's 3 p.m., and I'm like, look, I got this stupid Powerwall. It doesn't work. What should I do? Like, what kind of generator can I get right now that will at least let me turn on a space heater in the baby's room? Like, literally, like, we just need to power a few little things, like the refrigerator and the space heaters, okay?
Right.
And so I get this, like, generator, and I'm, like, old school with the, like, extension cords.
Those
I'm
things
like,
are huge. How big of a generator did you get?
It was a big generator.
Was it like a gas generator?
Yeah, it's a gas generator.
So
like,
you had
I
to
went
swing
analog.
by 76.
Wow.
Like,
fill the generator with gas.
Yes, I had to stop at the gas station and get some gas for this thing. And it's like
all for just like 5 more hours.
Yeah. But like it's the
No, you have
it's the
to.
baby.
It's the baby,
So
yeah.
then I was like, should we just go to my mom's house at this point? You know, but I feel like we're gonna load everything up. And
then the power's going to come on.
It's going to come back on, which is exactly what happened. I got everything set up. I got a
question.
I had the neighborhood friend. I was like, should we go to a hotel? Should we go to my mom's? I was like, at what point? Like, if it was just dark, I'd be like, okay, whatever. We'll just use flashlights. But it's like 40 degrees.
Cold.
Like, I got
You should have just
a
knocked
baby
on
and
Mason's door and just have the whole family. Guys were coming in.
Oh, sure. I wasn't even home. You could have used the house.
So is your Powerwall operational again?
Well, we got to get the company to come out because that's the other thing with Tesla. There's no customer service. Like, you can't call anybody.
Tweet Elon.
Just
tweet.
I don't want to mess with that. I'll get banned.
You'll get banned.
Why doesn't it?
Right.
So that was very 1%. Like, I can't really have a very honest conversation about my Tesla Powerwall didn't come on, right? Like, nobody's really going to sympathize with that.
No, a lot of people sending their thoughts and prayers.
Are you going to return the generator once the Powerwall gets?
I think I'm gonna keep it because I don't trust the Powerwall anymore.
Yeah.
At this point,
She's going to have regular power, Tesla Powerwall, generator. You should put some solar panels on your roof just to be sure.
Yeah, why not?
We do. They're supposed to feed into the Powerwall.
If it's got a 30-day
None of it
return
worked.
policy, weather will get better within the next 25 days.
The grease all
it's
over the
not
motor.
about- no, like literally, I stopped at the gas station. I was like, I had a gas can, and I'm like driving around with 5 gallons of gas in this gas can, and I'm like, man, if this is like,
Glad you survived.
I know, it's quite the ordeal.
What
I mean,
week.
thoughts and prayers,
I love
right?
Mason.
What a
I really
weekend.
should have just gone to my
People
mom's
are
house.
saying
huh?
thoughts and
That was a
prayers.
lot.
That's
Thoughts and prayers.
Have you guys ever taken a vacation where you go to do one very specific thing and don't get to do that very specific thing?
No, but I heard yours kind of went that way.
Tell me.
So I went to Bandon, Oregon this last weekend and the prior 3 or 4 days
Is
leading
that near
up
the
to
Dark
it.
Cave?
I don't know what the Dark Cave is.
The Aaron
That's where
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers
Oh, I don't
lives.
know. No, I don't know if it's the but
Part-time.
it's a little bit north of the California border. It's on the coast
Yeah,
and
that's
it's a world-class golf destination.
Oh, cool.
However,
That has like a 2-year, you said.
2 years booked out.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you booked it a long time ago?
My buddy Ryan did it. We
And
went
you
for his
thought
dad's
late February was a good
73rd
time of year?
It's the only time we could get it. It's the
Okay.
only time it worked
Probably
in their
the
schedule.
only reason that was available.
So, but to your point, you're not wrong. I was telling Al, like for a month leading up to this, I'm like, man, Bandon in Oregon in February, this could be a mess. It snowed more or less from the moment we got there until Friday night. We got to play Saturday. That resort's been there for nearly 25 years.
Yeah.
Right.
It had never been closed 2 days in a row
wow.
because
First
of snow.
time.
First time
Wow,
ever.
what
in
luck.
Right? First time in 12 years it had been closed for any reason, and that was just for one day. We go all the way up there. We got one round of golf in 4.5 days. It was a great round of golf, but a total bust on the weather.
Wow, that's too bad.
Have you ever done that where you had a specific task and you just couldn't get to it?
Honestly, I've been lucky, I think.
Yeah.
I don't,
This happens
I
on
can't
Below
think of
Deck all the time.
one. I'm sure it does.
Like, they go sailing, and these people pay gazillions of dollars for this, like, 3-day yacht trip, and it'll just be, like, really windy and cold and
They're
rainy
just
the whole
throwing
time.
up the entire time.
No,
The
they just
inflatable
stay.
slide
No,
mower.
they just
That's all
never
I know
leave the
is
boat.
The inflatable slide they have on those
They
boats.
just stay on the boat the whole time. They never go out to sea. They they literally
inflatable
turn the
slide?
boat into a hotel.
Again, thoughts and prayers.
So, so far, this is what we have. We have the Tesla
We're struggling with
generator.
stuff, Al.
Tesla generator. We have the resort that you have to book
The
out
golf-
2 years
wow.
in advance.
We are so relatable right now.
This
we
is
get each other.
you got a story that matches to any
I
of
had
this?
an all-around pretty good weekend.
Yeah.
You went to the desert?
I went to the desert, saw Mom. and not stepdad Leo. I actually had a date with my mom.
I like that.
Which was really, really cool.
Oh, I think I heard the promo
Dinner?
on this.
Yeah, we went to lunch.
Okay.
Went to the casino, went to Agua Calientes, played the slots for a while, then went to lunch, then went shopping, and then finally went to see Cocaine Bear. Because everybody's mom wants to see Cocaine Bear. Which was actually really a fun movie.
Can I ask a
It was
question?
a really nice day.
Is the Cocaine Bear like exactly what it sounds like?
Exactly. There's never been a more literal title than Cocaine Bear.
I was
A
like,
bear
is that
on blow?
Are you intrigued?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Like I thought, I was like, that's not really what it's about, is it? And then I saw like the poster, and it's like a bear with
bear
some
that
blow.
eats a bunch of cocaine, right?
Imagine funny Jaws in a forest. That's basically what you got.
This sounds like a classic stoner movie.
O'Shea Jackson Jr. is in it.
He's
great
in it?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's fantastic.
You really
He's-
should have been in this. This sounds like your kind of
Cocaine
cameo.
Bear, absolutely. Directed by Elizabeth Banks. Did really well this weekend. I thought it was
thought they killed
super
it. They
fun.
killed it this
Even
weekend.
my mom loved it.
She did.
Yeah, she loved it because it's funny.
I am Team Carrie Russell, so I'm intrigued by
Yeah, I
that
like Carrie
portion
Russell.
of
She
it.
was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I like her. I like
You
Margot Martindale.
got to guess who the survivors are going to be
Okay.
at the end of the day.
Oh, is it kind of like you don't want to be Quint, you want to be Captain Brody?
Correct. Correct. It is like that. It is like that.
Okay, I did not see it. I
Okay.
went to the theaters, and it dominated. There was literally, I was telling Trav, the lobby of the theater had a person dressed up in a bear,
No.
and everybody's taking the photos.
Really?
Everybody's putting everything on social, all that stuff. And people were pretty wild, this, that. I'm like, can I just get a water, some popcorn? I'm going to go see the movie. I'm going to ask you a question on this one. Have
Yeah.
you seen this or no? Have you seen they do the short films? The Oscar-nominated
short films or animated films. Yeah.
Have you seen them?
I've not seen them this year.
Okay, so I went. I didn't even know this existed. So it's like 5 movies in one.
Yeah.
So you're seeing
So did
basically
you see the live action or the animated?
I saw the live action.
Live action, okay.
Live action. So you're getting like 18 minutes in one,
That's
maybe
good.
25 for another. Maybe this goes back to our short attention span
Right. Yeah,
and
sure.
just kind of give me a little bit. But they were all really good.
Yeah.
Which one did you like the best?
Okay, this one was a little bit more, I don't know if tougher to watch is the right way to put it. Some of them were funny. Some of them were a little bit tougher to watch. There's
Right.
one called The Red Suitcase.
Okay.
Have you heard of that
No.
one? Okay, Red Suitcase. I want to kind of give it up, but just to kind of give the storyline to it.
Yes.
Girl, 16 years old, on a plane, getting off of the plane, and you're just starting to kind of get the storyline of where she's going. She's
Right.
talking to her dad on the phone. She's not going to where all the guests are going to meet the people that are coming. Why? Because she's 16 years old, and it's an arranged marriage, and she is trying really hard to avoid the person who does not know what she looks like, doesn't know like anything.
That's funny.
It's pretty
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Pretty
okay.
fascinating. Yeah.
Was that the one that was in English?
Did not expect a synopsis of one of the live-action shorts nominated for Academy Award this year.
All of them are so random, but really good.
Yeah.
All of them are really good
Cool.
storylines.
Yeah, no, it's fun to do that.
Did you want them to be longer?
That's a good question.
Can I tell you something? What's kind of funny? And I'll use that one as an example. When that one was done, the Red Suitcase, in my mind, I'm like, you can go another hour on this easily, and I'm in.
Right.
For most of them, I thought you can go a lot longer because they're so short that it just gives you an appetizer, and that's all you get. Yes, to answer your question, I wanted to go longer.
So we had an Ask Slee today.
Yeah.
That was if you were going to do a memoir of somebody here at 710, you're going to write it. But you can't pick yourself.
Right.
Who would you want to write about? I picked you, by the way,
Thank you.
because you.
It's an odd life.
Yeah,
it's an odd life.
it is.
Who would be a good subject for a memoir? I will say probably Kaplan.
Yeah, I was going to say Cap is actually an
Kaplan
interesting
also
one,
has
too.
lived a weird existence. He's an odd dude. I'm sure he's got great
That's
stories
what makes
to tell.
memoirs
Yeah, that's true.
interesting,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
not that everything goes according to plan.
It's
when it goes off
when
plan.
things go
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would your memoir be?
Very boring.
Very boring.
Very boring. I've been when I went
Fernando
on your podcast.
night.
I talked about it. I've been the luckiest guy in the world.
You were like the most normal person from the station on my podcast.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
You were like just straight up middle of the fairway.
My mom and dad love each other and loved me and my brother. Took good care of us. I went to high school, college, got a job, and I work.
Yeah.
And I started
it's
a
good.
family.
It's good.
That's
Where's
what it
the
was.
angst?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no
I'm
angst,
relatively
really.
angst.
So Mace is like, on his podcast, he's kind of like Roy Firestone. Like,
A little.
I'm gonna make you cry.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Did you break
find.
down?
Oh yeah, you got me to cry.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me. He's good at that. He like at some point it's like the scene in the Agent movie, Jerry Maguire.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Roy,
Yeah.
you gonna get me?
You know,
I wasn't gonna cry.
You know the most Sliwa had one of the most interesting podcasts. I found out stuff I never knew about Sliwa.
Made it all up.
The King of El Cajon. The King of El Cajon.
Who would you write about, Momo?
At our station, who
Yeah.
would I write about? I think Mace is probably the right answer.
Yeah.
He has. You have. Well, there's a lot. There's a lot behind the curtain.
Yeah, there is a lot behind the curtain.
There's
Would
a lot
you
behind the
open up
curtain.
for a memoir?
Yeah.
Would you spill it all?
I probably would. It's
like
such
you're
a
pretty
specific audience. I mean, I think people know a lot. You're like, the lot is behind the curtain. I don't know that there's that much behind the curtain.
Oh, I could get you there.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
All right, that's coming up.
All right, that's 10%.
I could make you cry, Steve Mason.
I get the agent fee. Super Crosstalk is powered by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger is all about. Mason and Island coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow.